Well, hello! What is up, guys? It is the Redstone Scientist here, here with Red's Kingdom, one of the developers at Everbloom Games. We're going to be
Hello.
showing you the unreleased sequel to A Nightmare in Candyworld. We'll talk a little bit more about it in just a second. We just want to do some audio checks first to make sure that everything sounds good. Let us know in the chat how things sound. Oh, I just noticed the music stopped in the game. It was
Yeah.
playing before, a second ago. Oh, it's because I was in third person, that's why.
Oh, does it not work in third person?
No, same in all of our other maps as well.
I'm trying to remember which one it is.
I also think there's a delay, so it may not be live for everyone quite yet. But basically, we will start talking a little bit about. First of all, I want to talk about the original Nightmare in Candyworld because most people watching it probably don't know what it is. So, A Nightmare in Candyworld was one of the first maps that we made. It's the earliest map that's still available, I believe, on the marketplace. And it is really special to a lot of us at Everbloom because it was like Jurassic Depths was our first one, and that was sort of our foray into, let's see how far we can push Bedrock, let's see how far we can push the engine, how far we can get, push the boundaries as part of our application to the marketplace. And then Nightmare in Candyworld was sort of, okay, we know what we're doing now, we've learned the tricks, we've got the cutting edge now. Some Redstone updates that had been very much needed were made to the game, and we kind of just poured our heart into it and made it, the best we could. And it was very much a passion project. We were not influenced by marketing or sales. At the time, basically anything you made would sell as long as it was good. And now, obviously, it's a little bit more complicated.
Yeah. I still remember drawing the maps that we would ultimately use for the build of that project so long ago.
Yeah, absolutely. So, one of the reasons that the map is sort of still stands out today, I think, one is over the years, and I guess it was like 7 years ago now, maybe 6 years ago, that it came out. It was one of the only really big adventure maps available on the marketplace. Hi, everybody. It was one of the only really big adventure maps available on the marketplace, and it was totally unique in what it did. The audio, the music, the voiceover. But ultimately, I think the reason that it made such a lasting impact is because it had so much heart in it, and you could feel all of... One, it was famous for like its big cast of characters and the lovable characters in the lovable world. And the fact that we were all sort of just like freshman marketplace people pouring our souls into this, I think really, you can really see it in the final product. And it has a lot of problems, and we have a lot of regrets on what we did there. It's not the most interesting game. It's sort of just hit things
it's pretty
a lot.
Basic.
Yeah. And to be fair, so is this one we're about to show you.
Yeah.
But it's very clear that it was a sophomoric effort, but at the time it was a really big deal. And we still get emails and messages all these years later from people saying that how much the game means to them. We've had quite a few people tell us that like their kids play it every day after school. They replay it. We got an email from someone saying that their kid was having a really rough time in school, and it's a kid on the spectrum who needed some sort of element of routine to his day, and Nightmare in Candyworld became part of his routine, and it really calmed him down. And messages like that are why we do this, or why we love to be able to share these stories so much with people. Another reason that Candyworld really is special to us is because it was another example, one of the first examples of us trying to say something meaningful with the stories that we tell. Nightmare in Candyworld was a not so subtle metaphor for xenophobia, for tolerance, and King Candy sort of being like, oh well, only the people who make good candy are allowed to be here, and King Candy doesn't want the candy trolls in Candy Kingdom. That's not allowed. And sort of the specter of the intolerance that was personified as the nightmare took over Lord Sugarbones, who was the villain in that map, played by Red's Kingdom.
Oh, that was me.
And yeah, we won't talk too much more about the original, but it was and continues to be very special to us. And no matter how many times you play it, it's still charming. We still feel a lot of nostalgia for it. There are definitely maps that we have that I play and I'm like, I am so tired of playing this map, but that is not one of them. Yeah. So anyway, we were looking for a new project to do, I guess a year ago, maybe almost 2.
It was 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Not a little bit more.
Yeah, we had a discussion about what we wanted to do, and we've gotten so many requests for a sequel to A Nightmare in Candyworld. And the thing about A Nightmare in Candyworld is, were it to be released today, it probably would not do well. In the market that is so saturated and so competitive and just vicious with how quickly it cycles through. And that's one of the reasons you've been seeing fewer maps from us, is because, you know, it's quite difficult. And we have to, And so when we said, okay, well, how are we going to be able to bring back the world of Candyworld in a way that would make fans happy, but also attract new people? At the time, and I suppose still, some of our greatest successes have been in doing horror maps. And there seemed to be a trend of those going on in the marketplace at the time. And we thought, well, we're really good at horror. We've done it a lot. We're really practiced. And we've also practiced the sort of wild and crazy stories with things like The Witch's Stew in Crazy Town. And we're like, okay, this is the perfect time to bring these two ideas together and make the sequel to Candyworld that we all wanted. But of course, it still wasn't the same because we didn't have that freedom that we had in the old days where it was like, whatever you want to make. And that's kind of the reason why this project unfortunately had to be canceled. As you're going to see today, most of the map is complete. You may not even notice, you actually probably wouldn't notice a lot of the things that are missing here. It'll seem pretty complete to you. But we're going to point out to you along the way where we wish we had changed things, where there are things we wanted to change. Anyway, we took a huge break in the middle of development. And one of the things that did was it meant that basically we had our pre-production meeting and everybody was all excited about the game. We came up with sort of the way that we wanted the story to go. It's a message about climate change, much more on the nose than the last one. It's
very on the nose.
Yeah, it's very on the nose, but it's in a funny way. And so we wanted to, we wanted to be able to share this very important story about climate change, about accountability and things like that. And everyone was on board. The script was written. Okay, here's what everybody has to do, made the task lists. And then the problem was that's kind of where the collaboration ended. At that point, we had split off to so many different projects, the different theme parks we've been doing, Dungeons and Dragons, and it was like, okay, we are all everyone was doing their own thing. And unlike what is supposed to happen in game development, where everyone talks to each other all the time and you constantly reevaluate and reconsider and take a look at everything, everyone kind of just put their heads down and did the work in the in-between time between everything. And so while all the work was done, it doesn't feel particularly cohesive, and sort of the mismatch of what we tried to do with it thematically kind of just went over our heads. So what you're going to see is the two ideas we had is, okay, one is it has to be Nightmare in Candyworld, has to be set in Candyworld, and we want to, what are the things everyone loves about Candyworld? It's the characters, it's the setting, it's the silly, cheesy writing, and all of those things together, plus we need to make it scary, and we need to make sure that it's both approachable to kids, but also, scary enough for everybody. And those two things were really in conflict with each other. The idea of making it this fun, kid-friendly thing, but also a horror game. And we really tried to shoehorn in the horror stuff, as you'll see, and the game does not feel like a horror game at all. No. And frankly, that's okay. Like, in terms of a final product, it's just that it really hurt the overall piece.
Yeah. And a few things just never got fully implemented, so like they're sort of half there, but not fully.
Right. So one of the things that, so then very recently, Red was revisiting it and putting the final touches on it, and I played through it and I was like, there's so much stuff that is missing. This doesn't feel right. There are elements of the story that are not being told properly, and I felt like it would be a real disservice to the fans of Candyworld, which, as I said, there are a lot of diehard fans of it. It would be a disservice to them to make this the sequel and to release this as sort of, not half-assed, but like not fully realized concept. The amount of work it would take to fix this up is just too much. It's just not worth it. And like I said, it wouldn't do well in today's climate either of the marketplace. This just doesn't have the hooks that it needs, sadly. So it's just not worth fixing up. But we love the work that we did. We wanted to talk about it. We didn't want it to just disappear from the face of the earth. And so that's why we're here today, to share with you the results of it.
What we made so far.
Yeah, what we made so far.
As far as it will go. But
yeah.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things to note is that subtitles were not done, so if anybody has a question about what was said or anything, you're welcome to ask. We basically know the script by heart. Red certainly does.
Yeah.
Whoops, sorry.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we...
I wrote it like 2 years ago, but
yeah. I wrote some of it too, I think.
I think.
Oh,
and
you did some rewrites. Ethiot wrote as well. But anyway, so behind the scenes here, we have our lobby here. Normally, this is where our branding would go. You know, check us out online and give us a rating. Any sort of notes about settings for the map. The gameplay is pretty...
placeholder plots.
Yeah, the gameplay's pretty much the same, which is just sort of hack and slash. We wanted to do something a little bit more complicated. We actually made some special abilities for combat, and they never got implemented because we forgot about them. It was so long.
I made them, and then, I just forgot about them when they came back to this, like a year later.
Anyway, shall we get started?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, let's do it. And you'll see some things like the fact that we're a multiplayer, we didn't set up spectator mode properly, so like I'll need to go in third person or something to be able to see the cutscene, but it'll be okay.
Yeah, this hasn't been fully tested for multiplayer, so we're going to find out on the way.
Yes, you're going to see all the seams that normally we would have patched up by the time you get to see a map.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, there was a realm known as Candyworld, a land full of sugary sweets and scrumptious desserts, its citizens prosperous and joyous. Following the reformation of Lord Sugarbones, there was a time of peace. But not long after, a new nightmare infiltrated the land, from the mysterious and dangerous realm known as the Beyond. Without many realizing it, Candyworld was gradually slipping into chaos. After a cataclysmic event, this magical world was reduced to nearly nothing, with most areas completely flooded by a viscous, hot chocolate. Still, a small glimmer of hope remained.
Oh, now invisibility kicks in.
Who had saved
Candyworld
before,
you just
returned to find their home in ruin. Together with their fairy companion Sugar Rush, the duo traveled far to find the elusive and mysterious Keeper of Time. They hoped to find a way to reverse the destruction and save their people.
And this is where the issues kind of start. We'll talk about that as soon as we're done here.
Are we sure this is the way to the tower? We're almost there!
All right, so I'm going to take a step back so we're not in combat immediately, but basically the idea, we're going to have to fight him. This guy's kind of, these are inspired by like sort of BioShock, what do you call them? Like in a diving suit, old-fashioned diving suit, these sort of homunculus. I will say, in terms of keeping things scary, Also, let me know if the game is too loud. In terms of keeping things scary, the mobs themselves are pretty terrifying, as much as they can be in Minecraft. They're really messed up. I should have prepared some concept art to show.
Oh yeah, the concept art was great for all of these.
Yeah,
really
yeah.
Terrifying.
But anyway, it was there we go. Anyway, it was good idea that the mobs did get executed very well, but they just don't fit in the world. But anyway, this opening scene is really important because, one, it reestablishes what this is. It's Candyworld. It's a world made of candy. We are playing Candy Knights, and Sugar Rush is our companion, and Sugar Rush is this little blue fairy, which we're going to go check out in a minute. And Sugar Rush, basically, at the end of the previous game, we became sort of the official Knights of Candyworld and went to solve the Candyworld's problems for the king. And what was sort of glazed over in the intro is the most important thing that we need you to understand in this scene is there was an apocalypse. The Candyworld is completely destroyed. I actually have my render distance at 16 chunks, but the fog is keeping it in. What it was supposed to be is we were supposed to be seeing like an establishing shot of this tower where it's just like chocolate all around. It's just all chocolate lava. And it's like, it's supposed to show that all of Candyworld is underwater. It's completely destroyed. And out of everything, this lone sort of ray of hope, this one tower is all that remains of Candyworld sticking up out of the ground. And we have made it here. It's not said explicitly, but everyone is dead. Everyone in the world is dead except right here. And it's really important that we got that across, and that just doesn't come across here. And when that doesn't come across, you don't get the stakes, you don't get the context, and the rest of it kind of falls flat if you don't know that.
Yeah. And the reason why we're like, this is the build is because, I don't know, somehow in the process we totally didn't build that tower surrounded by hot chocolate. And
well, it was supposed to be this, and I think there was a miscommunication about. So we reused a lot of builds. If we actually clip out of here, you can see it is the build from the original, some of it anyway.
I think it's the other side of the tower, but yeah.
Yeah. But it is supposed to be, completely flooded. And what was supposed to happen is we would just like fill it with lava or like do some particle trick to get it to be as far as the eye can see, but there was some miscommunication that we thought it was going to be like a different build or something that you teleport to. Another issue that you'll see throughout it is that the build, none of the people who worked on the original build of Candyworld worked on this. Our incredible builder, Dan27, worked on this. I think Wonder did a little bit as well before he left, but I don't remember. But
it's been so long.
Yeah. As great, the build is fantastic. It's excellent. But even by the end of the entire map, it's not entirely clear that the world is made of candy, because we focused so much on telling the story of... this is a time travel story. We haven't told you that yet. It's a time travel story, and we focus so much on like how things decay over the timeline and everything is flooded. But when everything is flooded, you can't tell that everything is candy.
Yeah.
Sugar Rush is right here. Now, if you have played the original, you know this is very different than what the original Sugar Rush looked like. We had much more limited options for entities and visuals back then, and it was like, okay, here's our chance to give it an upgrade. We're going to upgrade everything. And again, this is where the communication kind of broke down, because while that is cute, that's not Sugar Rush. I believe some facial expressions are also going to happen in this map. Sugar Rush is just a blue dot, basically. And my feeling as a creative director is that having her be this white cube to be more Minecraft style with these pretty wings takes away some of the charm of her, because it gives her, having her have a face gives her more personality than we want her to have intrinsically. We want you to try and project the personality onto her.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I would have loved to have revisited that, but that's where we are now. The original actress Ali Weber returned for the recording. Before we go and continue, I'll tell you, I flew out to New York as a business trip to have her record this, and I got a hotel room, and I hadn't thought of the fact that New York is really loud. New York City is really loud, so I stuffed her with a bunch of pillows and blankets in the hotel room closet with the mic, kind of the cord coming out beneath the door, and I would yell direction into her because I was like, how are we gonna get rid of all this traffic sound? I didn't get a recording studio or anything. But for all things considered, it came out.
Yeah, it came out all right.
Yeah. All right, so I think we've established what this is supposed to be, and it will become a little bit clearer what's going to happen in this map when we ascend the tower.
Time it better be even.
So, like, this is an example of one that this thing is scary. I don't remember if it's chocolate or like.
It's supposed to be like a chocolate hound crocodile combo thing.
Yeah, like this is scary and it's cool and the sounds are great, but it also, like, in the first one we placed the mobs at like different parts of the story in different chapters, and we did that here as well, but they were more thematic to the area. In here it feels more like we did, okay, we have this many monsters, let's put some here and some here.
Yeah, I mean, when I was putting down the monsters, it was like, okay, sort of putting the easier ones first and scaling it up as you get deeper into the adventure, since there wasn't anything like super thematic.
Right, but like, where did these chocolate ones come from? They normally would have come from Chocolate Canyon if it was the old map, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, so that's another way, but there's, I think, a little bit of disconnect in just like our plan.
I think this is it.
You'll also notice a lot of stuff is the same. Like all of the items that you have that you can find in the chests and so forth. We have gummy vests and the jelly beans, things like that, which I like that we kept. Before we kill this guy, let's. Never mind.
Sorry.
I was gonna say I just want to appreciate some of the animations and the sounds because they really are cool. But we'll see more.
I think there's another one.
How much things have changed since our first adventure.
So, like, you can see they sort of lumber along. I don't like that they jump. That's something that I would probably...
I think it's because they're...
I know, but we would remove
blocks.
the jump. But if we removed the jump behavior, he wouldn't do that, I think.
Yeah.
But it's, like, it's supposed to be very terrifying coming at you like this. I love the way it came out, though. I just wish we had tweaked the AI more.
Yeah. That was one of the things that was on the list to work on.
Right. So, it's the apocalypse. Candyworld has been completely flooded. Everybody is dead. We're at the last bastion of hope. Candy Night and Sugar Rush. We're entering this tower to speak to the Keeper of Time. Why? We don't know yet.
Do you think he's gone too? Oh, what
This
will we
change
do
in
now?
fog is due to the
We've
time of
searched
day
this
where I
entire
move my
tower,
camera.
and there's no sign of the Keeper
Ignore
of
that.
Time.
Yeah.
What is that?
This is portal tech reused from an upcoming
It's
map,
about
Mutant
time
Zombie
you two got
Dungeons.
here. You're late.
Late? We've been searching for you in this tower for hours. You're the Keeper of Time, right? We're here to see if there is...
I know.
Something I wanted to add is the
young
beard
hero.
hanging.
Technically, I'm a few centuries old.
Yeah.
You seek to harness the power of
It is a little
time
weird it's
travel
hovering
to
off
avert
to the
this
side, but-
cataclysm. Sadly, this is impossible.
Impossible. But isn't that...
Impossible without knowing what caused it in the first place. Surrounding you are moments of time, captured in an instant, each of them bearing some great significance
supposed to be
to our
these.
universe in one way or another. Some of these are as significant as the creation of all things.
This is inspired by, like,
Some are significant to only one individual.
the Roald Dahl's The
Though
Big
their
Friendly
numbers may
Giant, all
seem
the
limited to
dreams
you,
and jars.
I can assure you that this tower holds infinite moments of time. As Keeper, I can open portals into each of them to explore these moments in time and change history, if you will.
Wait, so if you can go into any of these, why haven't you saved Candyworld? Sorry, was that a rude question?
Sugar Rush, as badly as I want to be able to help, I cannot. Time traveling, as it turns out, takes quite a toll on the body. These aged bones and my fragile mind could not survive the trip. Alas, now I can only see the surface of these moments as I peruse this infinite catalogue. I cannot look deep within them or understand their significance.
So that's it. We came all this way and there's nothing to be done?
You two, on the other hand, have overcome insurmountable odds in the past, and you perhaps could be the saviors of Candyworld yet again. If you wish to save Candyworld, I shall send you back in time, but it is up to you to figure out how we reached our current predicament. Only once you know that, can you save your home.
How will you know where, when to send us?
Chronomancy is a science, but it is also an art. Although I can only glimpse the surface of what these moments contain, my heart, my soul, points me in the right direction. I do not know where this portal will send you. I only know that it is vital to your mission and to understanding the state of our world.
Oh, I was gonna say, it's gonna send us in, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, don't forget to find a time orb. That will bring you back to the present. It's always located in a place of great significance.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about it in a second.
Abruptly cast through time, Sugar Rush and the Candy Knight did not know where or when they were headed, but it was certain that wherever they ended up, it was bound to be important to revealing the cause of the catastrophe that had claimed their homes in the present.
What? Whoa, I feel weird. I think that portal reversed my insides a little. Where are we? Are we actually back in time? The world is still here. There's a town. I think that's Butterscotch Village. Is that really where we might find our first clue? Seems like an odd place for the end of the world to start. Butterscotch Village was such a peaceful place. Let's see what we can find out.
15 years ago. Okay, so let's talk about what just happened. Hopefully Sugar Rush will stop for us. Yeah, okay.
She will. Yeah.
Yeah, so just to review what happened, we found the Keeper of Time, who's like this time bear, floating meditative, and he's got all of these moments of time captured in jars on the walls. Something that I would have loved to... One of the things also with this map, we were like, we need to be able to do this a little bit cheaper than normal. So, like, there are certain fidelity things we didn't get to do. Like, I really wanted to make that a grand space, but we just didn't have time. All of the memories on the walls. And he's like, okay, well, in order to save Candyworld, you have to, like, change the past. But in order to change the past, you have to know why this happened. You have to understand how this apocalypse came to be. And I noticed listening to that, so much of that dialogue, a large percentage of that dialogue, is covering our own tracks of plot holes.
Yes.
So, like, why didn't you do it? Oh, well, I'm old. I'm very old. You're not old. Yeah.
I mean,
why can't we just go back to the time where it was caused? Oh, well, you have to understand what caused it.
So that's one thing is there are sections of this map where there is a lot of talking and not a whole lot to do while the talking's going on. So probably looking back, maybe we should embrace the campiness of it, of just like, yeah, we don't have to cover that sort of plot hole.
Yeah,
But-
you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
But also, this is a problem we continue to face, this idea of trying not to give exposition dumps. And it's something I think we've gotten better at, but ordinarily, were this a map we would have spent more time on, then we would have, gone through several rewrites of the script and been like, okay, here are the problems with this. But at the point where we had to develop this, it was like, we have to just go with what we have. Again, another reason why we canceled the project, because that's not the right attitude to take when we make stuff. We want to pour everything we have into it. But we sort of had to make a lot of concessions. Also, that last line from Sugar Rush does not really hit right. Unfortunately, I think part of it is the way that Sugar Rush looks, but I'm not sure what it is. Something about the performance of Sugar Rush in this map doesn't hit quite right. The camp just doesn't match. instead it feels overacted, and that's not her fault. That's a fault of the direction.
I think overall, like, basically where the misstep is just the Candyworld itself is a silly adventure in like a fantastical world, but we went for a much more serious tone in this map, like throughout the whole thing, rather than
and we didn't anticipate.
We should have focused on with the seriousness.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't anticipate how that mismatch would affect the gestalt of the whole thing. The greater than the sum of its parts. How the unexpected ways in which that would mess things up, like the performances or the visuals, and we sort of just thought it would all come together, which is naive, I suppose. Again, it was largely due to a very broken up timeline, where normally we would have been able to talk about all this stuff and, iterate on it.
Yeah.
So he said, okay, well, this is the first place you need to go. I know in my heart this is the first place you need to go. This is 15 years ago, Butterscotch Village. Now, Butterscotch Village is at the base of, sort of right outside Chocolate Canyon from the first game. And we'll learn a little bit more about that. So this is now before the apocalypse happened. Again, with the build, it's beautiful, it's excellent, but it's also, like, not explicitly clear that this is cotton candy or anything, or lollipops. I mean, it's nice, and now that I say it, you're like, oh, but it's not, like, we don't have the candy canes like we did before. And it feels a little bit more like this could be a Dr. Seuss style, right? This could be just truffle trees.
Yeah.
But we've also got, the chocolate ground, the sprinkles on the ground, and all of that stuff does add, but none of it ever comes together to be like, wow, look, they made a world made of candy, like we did in the first one. All right, shall we go see why we're here 15 years ago? In Butterscotch Village, we're uncovering how this apocalypse happened.
Oh yes, go. Sugar Rush has been waiting on this for several minutes now.
Yeah, she's very impatient.
I suppose when King Candy promoted us, I didn't realize how disconnected we would become from the citizens of Candy Kingdom. Too busy with adventures and paperwork.
All right, so if you remember, since we got promoted, basically. There's also so many things we were trying to insert here without overstuffing the dialogue. Like that line about we got disconnected from the rest of the world because we got a position of power and we weren't talking with the people, and that's supposed to sort of set up the idea of the disconnect between elected officials and people and climate change and how it's not really, it's not affecting the citizens because you haven't talked to them. That sort of thing. It's supposed to be subtle, but also got some bugs right here with the blocks.
Yeah, I never got around to fixing that.
I remember Butterscotch Village being much more
it's just a
lively
visual
than this.
glitch.
I wonder what happened.
Ooh, chocolate chest plate. Let's go.
Yeah, I think that's like a chainmail chest plate reskin. I think.
Okay, now this is another thing. The citizens here. They are fabulous. They're so good. The theming is so amazing. They really look like, I can't put my finger on who the artist is or the style, but it's very German cartoon, they've got the lederhosen, they've got the it's so beautifully camp. It's so fairy tale. Here, let's take a look at the chef, if we can get him to look at us.
The bridge is flooded. Again! I think Snickety's trying to fix it.
Yeah, there's the barks as well, but they're so cute. This is like a Jack and Jill kind of thing. She's got croissant for her hair.
Aren't you the one? Have you seen the site of the new factory yet? Defeated Lord Sugar making is all those years ago. So good.
Now, the voice mismatches are fine because it's camp, but the fact is, as great as these citizens are, they do not belong here. These are made for the map that we should have made, which is the fully camp, silly Candyworld. These guys would fit right in, but because as you'll see soon, something bad will happen to them, and they start running around with their arms in the air, and it's supposed to be this really serious moment, and they look ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They definitely need it. I definitely needed to work on their panicking
This lake isn't as
behavior.
pretty as it
It's a
used
great
to be.
animation, but it's for a sillier map, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Was it
Found
Old Man
some weird
Snickety living
gunk in
here
the river
before the
the other day.
cataclysm?
Look
I'm
like
pretty
a
sure
ball
he
of
retired
candy
here.
wrappers.
We should find him. It would be good to see him again.
Right, so this is where Old Man Snickety used to live before he lived in Chocolate Canyon, which is where we found him from the first game. So Old Man Snickety is back. He's given an upgraded texture and model, and this one I think came out really nicely. You'll see in a moment. I love this sort of brick road texture.
Oh, a candy night.
Oh yeah.
Over there,
Aren't
that's
you
Old
the
Man
one who
Snickety.
saved
Come
King
on.
Candy and defeated Lord
There he
Sugarloaf
is.
all those years ago?
Oh, the barks are way too loud.
Yeah, they are.
Is that? It is you! Oh, my old boys don't believe it. It's good to see you two again. How's the high life of adventure been treating you two? Last I heard, you all were off defeating a licorice hydra over in the Sour Marsh.
Well,
His animations are great.
oh. So that's
Oh,
where
yeah.
we are.
What was that?
Just sort of
Sorry,
jumps
my
all over
hearing
the
isn't
place.
what it used to be.
Right,
Yeah.
so he
That monster
contextualizes
was
when
a
we are
lot to
15 years ago.
handle. Sorry we haven't visited.
Hey, I'm just glad you kids are still off adventuring. I remember the day when I first met you in Chocolate Canyon. Took me forever to find that ladder to get you out of the gummy worm pit.
Little joke about an issue with the old map.
Things have been good here.
Mhm.
Or at least they were. The town's been dealing with some hardships. Some chocolate slides from the mountains occasionally bury a house. And as you can see, with the bridge flooded, we're cut off from the new development projects. It's been tough with these small disasters piling up, but it's nothing us butterscotchers can't handle. I've been trying to fix the piping in the basement over there to clean up the mess, but it's been a real jawbreaker. Say, if you youngsters aren't busy, perhaps you might want to take a crack at
Guess
it.
what?
I suppose we could take a look.
Candy
We'll
puns.
see what we can do, Old Man Snickety.
I think we did it this time around too, but I remember very vividly doing it with you in a call in the first one, where we were looking up lists of names of candies that
Oh,
weren't like explicitly copyright, and then we did copyright ones, and we were like, we just need more candy puns. Anywhere, just scroll through the script, find more places to put puns.
Yeah. I don't know if we did that fully with this one.
We
I know the
didn't,
first-
but
first
you
one.
know, it was influenced, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's nothing kids love more than repairing old infrastructure, so we thought that would be fun, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as you can see, the themes continue to be like, you know, the impact of the environment and infrastructure and things like that. So let's go see if we can solve this for Old Man Snickety.
Have you seen the site of the new factory yet? The candy they'll be making is gonna be so good.
We're gonna hear more about that later.
Looks like Snickety is doing all right. Still not sure what the Keeper of Time sent us here to find. It sounds like things are worse here than Snickety is letting on, or he even believes. Let's help out with the pipes and see if that will lead us to anything. There are the pipes he told us about. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? That doesn't
Right.
look
Oh.
natural. I'll keep an eye on it while you fix the pipes.
So-
and we can go up and ask Snickety if he knows anything about that.
Right, so she is talking about this here, but obviously it just fits in with the rest of everything, so nobody knows what she's talking
Yeah.
about.
I mean,
It was supposed to be like a wall with like a crawling infection, like maggots and such. Like this should have been a lot more intense.
there was a whole like I kind of covered up what was sort of there before, but like basically it was a cave like this, but it
Oh.
didn't make the most sense of why.
It still
you-
doesn't make
If
sense,
it actually
Red.
is hard as
Yeah.
Old Man Snickety
Well,
said, try rotating some of the pipes to see if you can get the ends to connect.
I will say we did a great
The
job
pipes
with
probably need a clear, unbroken path.
with the hints, I think, and the timing of those.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's supposed to be. It really needed to stand out as like, whoa, what a weird thing. Even in Minecraft, what a weird thing to see. It looks like an infection of some sort, or it looks like purple bad stuff. It looks alive. That's what it was supposed
Yeah.
to be, and that Sure, just got lost in translation.
We never had anything quite match that, so I just
Again, if we
covered
had
it
talked
up
more
with
about it as we were going through, then we would have been like, oh, like, let's invest time into this. But also, we were really trying to keep, costs down, and we were really, afraid to add big stuff like that. So, Red, do you want to tell us about this puzzle here?
Yeah, so this is basically just like a pipe puzzle where you need to connect from one end to the other, so like in the two corners.
I like this style.
You can just rotate these, and basically you need to make sure everything matches up. Like the colors match up to either end, to whichever one it's going to.
Now, one of the things we needed to do here was also make it a little bit more colorblind friendly by adding some texture to those ends. That's something we also tend to do.
Yeah,
Merchant Samantha says nothing makes sense. I promise you this all makes sense if the story was told properly. So hopefully it will make sense by the end with all the stuff we're telling you.
Yeah, hopefully. Let's see. So basically we just need a...
There may be a lot of plot holes covered up, but we did cover them.
Yeah. Alright, so we completed that one. We needed to add a little bit more feedback. I mean, you probably heard the sound.
Yeah, it's not
delay,
clear.
But...
Super clear that it worked, yeah.
Yeah. It opens up a door here where you go do it again. That's it with a bigger puzzle.
This is a great graphic, and so, again, a case of just, like, sending people to do stuff without talking. We had Max, our graphic designer, sort of like, here are the things that we need, but we didn't explicitly say, we need a graphic that'll go here for this. He kind of just made a bunch of stuff that we asked for, and then we sort of just placed them. And also, when these were made, this was before we started to sort of standardize having a lower resolution for our graphics. So that's why it stands out so much.
Yeah. Alright, so this puzzle's a little bit bigger, but...
Just the look on her face is so much more like... In the original map, when we were writing her and doing our... I love that, but I would have loved that in the original map. But one of the things you were saying when we were making the original, what was you were like, it's super important that Sugar Rush is annoying in a cute way, and people cannot be saying, like, shut up, Sugar Rush. I think we succeeded for a lot of people. A lot of people didn't like her, but for the most part, I think we succeeded. That she was still lovable and innocent and sweet, even though she was very talkative. And something about that face makes her much more punchable.
You're right.
What are you smiling about?
Overall, she's less annoying in this map, but that's because just the structure of this map's a bit different.
I think she's less annoying in terms of, like, interrupting what you're doing, but I think she's a more annoying characterization because she doesn't have... We didn't have that scene like we had in the first one where we see her panicking and having an anxiety attack of like, oh no, what am I going to do about King Candy? And, she sort of... It's a very clear moment to establish her character. We don't have that in here, so all you see is just her kind of being like, I'm Sugar Rush!
Yeah.
And you miss out on that character, and so it reads as much more annoying, you know what I mean? Again, this is no fault of the actress. I want to make it clear, I love Allie Weber. I went to college with her, and she was a real trooper working through all of this with me over multiple days. But all of these things together, created these issues.
Yeah.
Get it fixed? Hopefully that will help with the flooding. Let's go back up.
So she flew through here.
I think also, I think maybe the original performance was also a little bit more upbeat, which makes sense because it was sillier. And I do think that was good for her character, that it didn't come through this time, because we were like, oh, let's make it a little bit more serious.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like, I think overall we went for a much more serious tone when it didn't need to be.
Yeah. As something you'll keep hearing is that, but also something you'll keep hearing is we all had different ideas in our heads, and we didn't reconcile them together. So, I had the idea in my head of what it would look like when I went to New York to record with Allie, Red had the idea in his head when he was putting stuff together. The artist had something in their head when they, just like from the documents, we really needed to communicate better. And luckily we did on the other maps surrounding this. This is, you know, this was a step backward in a way for a lot of the procedures and communication that we had worked on in our studio. But it's a good lesson to see that the things that we've changed did make a difference.
Yeah. It was a lot of, okay, well, one team did this part of the map. That's done. We don't want to touch it anymore. Figure it out going forward. And
Right, because we were
don't
also
change
afraid to be like,
Yeah.
oh, let's spend more money or let's, you know, make this deeper, because
Yeah.
we had so many high-profile projects that we didn't want to put on the back burner.
it. Yeah. So this one ended up being the one on the back burner. Just like, we'll get to it
Yeah.
when we get to it.
Candy night. Aren't you the one who saved King Candy and defeated Lord Sugarbones all those years
Wow,
ago?
that's much better. Thank you so much for the help.
So you
Snickety,
can see the bridge is fine.
we
We
saw
drained
something
it.
strange down in the basement.
Oh, that's just some flooding damage, I'm pretty sure. Been meaning to fix that too. But we've been diverting most of the town's resources to a new candy factory that's being constructed. Have to make some infrastructure sacrifices, is what Mr. Bonbon said. Come on, let me
Mr.
show you.
Bonbon was the first mention of Mr.
The
Bonbon.
whole town has come together, and we're hoping
The
Mr.
draining
Bonbon's
of this
factory up
bridge
on the
was
hill
probably one of the
will
most
revolutionize the
complicated
butterscotch
things.
industry. It's gonna
This
transform
lake isn't
the
as
butterscotch
pretty as
from
it
the lake
used to be.
into this
This lake
brand
isn't as
new
pretty
required
as it
so
Okay, we
much
need to
construction.
repeat what he said.
Absolutely delicious thing I've ever
Oh,
tasted.
yeah, sorry.
Mr. Bonbon is such a visionary.
It was the barks.
We invested a good chunk of the town's income and savings into his project.
Are you sure that's a good idea? Sounds pretty risky.
Oh, definitely. We do have to cut down some trees and use a lot more power and such, but all that construction is creating lots of new jobs for everyone. How could that possibly be bad? Mr. Bonbon knows what he's doing.
Who is this Mr. Bonbon anyway? I've never heard of him.
Oh, he's a savvy
Let's stop here.
businessman who came to town and he wanted
I
to make
think
the
I think
biggest
it
and
just
most
auto
efficient
triggers.
factory
Oh,
in
you think so?
Candyworld. Showed us all these
I'm pretty sure it
graphs,
does.
said he needed some funding and help. Made a lot of sense to us. We've been investing most of our resources in building up infrastructure for the factory. Sure, we can't repair things in town like we used to, but that's okay. Mr. Bonbon says once the factory is fully operational, things will be so much better than they were before. Besides, we'll be able to recover from anything outside a massive chocolate slide, but there hasn't been one of those in centuries. Oh, I should choose my words more carefully.
Come on!
The big chocolate slide scene.
Yeah.
All right, so let's pause here with this great, really cool effect. It's very loud. Let me turn it down for a second. Oh, right. Things are gonna attack us. I'm gonna go in
if we
creative
stand
mode.
over here, we should be fine.
I'm just gonna go in creative
Alright.
mode.
Okay.
So, just to review, basically, it's actually pretty good. We just talked over it, but Old Man Snickety is like, oh, well, there's a new factory that we're going to build in the town. Mr. Bonbon, and Mr. Bonbon this, Mr. Bonbon that. Mr. Bonbon showed us a bunch of these graphs. You know, he showed all the city folk a bunch of these graphs and was like, hey, you know, this is going to be great. It's the best tasting candy ever. All you need to do is, like, invest some of your town's money in me, and I'll build this new development. And it's going to create lots of jobs. It's going to create a lot of good for your community. All you have to do is believe in me to build this factory. And he said, oh, well, now we are all so excited about it. It's going to create a lot of jobs. But it did take some of the resources away from other things we needed to repair, like the bridge, and some other infrastructure pieces. But it's okay because most of the infrastructure was there just to prevent a chocolate slide, like it was supposed to be like a landslide or a mudslide. And of course, what happens but a chocolate slide?
Yeah.
One of the things about this is, when it was written, I was sort of envisioning an instantaneous moment of a landslide, but I hadn't considered the fact that this is a whole sequence you have to go through, and it doesn't necessarily make sense for a mudslide to be going on this long. So this is sort of like the dust before the mudslide, because at the end of this chapter, the town needs to be completely destroyed by a mudslide. Everybody needs to be killed. So we basically are like, oh, this is the dust before the storm that indicates that there's about to be a mudslide. And then it was really important we had this big cinematic moment of the town being destroyed, which didn't really come through the way I wanted either.
No.
I don't know if you did
There
any
wasn't-
improvements to it since I saw it,
Yeah.
but
I think just very minor things. Yeah, I think one thing that made this section really difficult was that there was not really a destroyed version of the town that we were able to use that was ever built. Anyway, like there was a few sections which we'll get to in a little bit where something gets destroyed, but the town as a whole, there wasn't really an easy way to like showcase it getting destroyed and flooded and with what we
well,
had.
it was
working at the
intended
time.
that it would be a blackout
just
when
saying-
it got
yeah.
when it got destroyed, but
Yeah.
it still didn't read. Once again, sort of ruining the stakes of the game. But as we go through this section, you'll see the intention here. What we envisioned was this sort of high energy, very low visibility, and that part is great. The effects are great. Low visibility, everybody running around and screaming. Everything is, buildings are falling and monsters are attacking. The pathways are being blocked off and people are like, help me, oh, my baby. and sort of getting out in the nick of time, evacuating the village to prevent them from being crushed. That's what's supposed to be happening here. I'm going to go back into adventure. So we got these little butterscotch monsters here, which are also lovely. Again, the design of all of the creatures is great. The audio isn't quite balanced, really. This is also a thing where, like...
one of the last things we were working on was the audio balancing.
Yeah, this is also, like... There's no reason that you have to fight these things, either. You can see here, this is the really funny running animation we were talking about. There's also, like, the monsters should be chasing the citizens and the citizens running away from them. Like, we wanted to set up little scenes of them kind of running in the distance.
Yeah.
Save us!
Yeah, and so this thing that's
it's
supposed to
upward.
be... This was supposed to be a moment where you expected this to be a campy, silly Candyworld game, and this was supposed to be the moment where, like, everything changed and suddenly everything got really dark, and it was like a really big contrast. But unfortunately, it's still hilarious.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go help Snickety evacuate everybody. Oh, run, right. We were trying to tell people you don't need to fight these things.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you can just run through, follow Snickety and Sugar Rush.
I'm okay.
The screaming is good.
Find your way around and I'll meet
Yeah.
you on the other side of town. I'm going to help evacuate the town.
Okay, you can't hear her,
This is a real mess. Go
but
ahead.
basically,
I'll do what I can to help here.
this thing fell, this house fell. Sugar Rush can fly, so she went over to gather people, and she's like, you go the other way.
Yeah.
And Snickety will help gather people around here.
Someone, help us!
There was a lot of good level design discussion that happened on this map, though. I'm glad
Yeah.
that happened.
We had some good thoughts about that. And just how to, go back through areas, like especially on this, where it's like, okay, we open up a new path.
Right.
So that you can kind of continue and not necessarily see the same thing over and over.
Maybe if we have time at the end, we can show some of the production art.
Yeah.
It's just a chest with gear here.
Yeah. You see a
why
chest
am I not
in front of
healing?
some gear.
There we go. There it is. I got it. I should probably be eating these cupcakes instead.
Yeah, that's how you get health back. Stuff your face full of cupcakes.
This sort of invasion of the blobs in the town. I was also like, where are all the people? Like, let's have... Also, when you notice the death animation was not implemented properly. They're not supposed to turn over like that, like most of the mobs in our games. They're supposed to just sort of collapse. You can see them starting to do the animation when they turn over.
Yeah.
But it is supposed to be a much nicer death animation.
Yeah, instead of the normal
Yeah,
Minecraft
yeah.
death animation. It's sort of combined at the moment. I had it down around the bits of that.
It's worth noting, Red only got to work like, what, 5-6 weeks on this?
Like actively, like coding the scenes, yeah.
Yeah.
I've had various other things, but that was like in the months before, or like year before.
Yeah.
Like making this the chocolate slide effect that we're seeing, like the
Yeah.
dust. That I did a very long time ago.
Yeah.
Go back to the well. This way is blocked.
That was triggered at the wrong time because the well is supposed to be like, that's supposed to be your hint as to where to go, but the well is clearly right here. Go back to the well!
Yeah, it was triggered at the wrong way. Should have been triggered
There you
after the
are.
first time I collapsed.
What's going on? I've never seen these types of monsters before. These seem to be coming from the lake. Is this
I don't know
some
why
kind
the
of coordinated
thing stopped.
attack?
Forgot there's a
Now that's
fix.
a lot of butterscotch.
Ah, Red.
I'm sorry. I haven't tested this in multiplayer.
Well, it was a cool entrance of this guy rising out of the caramel lake. This is a gorgeous model. Look at how the little bits are like falling on
Yeah.
them. It's beautiful how it really looks goopy as much as it can with a Minecraft style. I love
Yeah.
the look of this guy. There are more attacks that weren't implemented.
I'm going to help you
Yeah,
out.
a lot of the
Get out
bosses are sort of half implemented. Like they have some basic attacks, but it's not like super polished or anything. But like right now, it's shooting me with.
Can you not shoot him?
That was the other thing I discovered like right before we stopped production. Was that the entities are immune to arrows.
I don't know.
Uh,
Also, this lady seems to be very fine just standing here.
Yeah, some of the civilians kind of run into places and then just get kind of stuck.
This is a very cool boss, though, if it came together. I also envisioned this being like 3 times the size.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I wasn't aware of that.
But part of the problem is the arena wasn't really built for it.
Yeah. Oh, that was another
Again,
thing.
we sort of stopped checking in.
Yeah, one thing with this whole area that we're fighting on was raised up to the height that like these blocks were at. So I actually had to come in and use like TNT and stuff and blow it up to lower this whole area, so that the monster coming out of the water would make more sense.
Please, has anyone seen my wife?
You do.
But that was just sort of a, not realizing it when we were in the build stage that would
Right.
be an issue.
You can hear the barks are way more serious and intense than all the other elements, so it feels very
Yeah.
weird.
Okay.
Yeah, this guy does have cool attacks, I promise.
Yeah.
I don't remember what they are.
Oh, right. Yeah. I had the monster or the bosses. I was in the middle of fixing their combat or their attack
Where did that thing
animations. And they
come
were
from?
not activating for some weird reason.
Again, the art team just did a wonderful job with this. It's beautiful. The dripping we reused in another upcoming map as well.
All right.
Also, not supposed to die like that. It's supposed to be a very
Yeah.
epic defeat.
Did it? Oh wait, I think we have to go here.
Look,
Yeah.
I think that's the orb thing.
Oh,
Keeper of Time is
stick these
without-
stick
Yeah, there's the-
That's how we get back.
Keeper of time. Get back. What are you two talking about?
Give yourself invisibility before we trigger the thing.
Yeah.
Take your helmet off.
Oh yeah, I took it off.
Okay, so that was supposed to be a really big, like, boom! It was supposed to be really loud and, like, the whole village
Just as
getting
you
covered.
returned through the portal, my mind was filled with
Everybody,
rapid
like,
fire images. I could see everything that occurred, but only in
the chocolate would be, like, slamming into your face, and that would be, like, that's the end of that village.
How Butterscotch Village
Yeah.
was erased off the map.
What?
Yeah, he even says it.
What happened to them? What about Old Man Snickety? Oh. Why did we never hear about this?
Because the whole thing was covered up by those responsible. You'd only know the town was gone if you visited in the time following.
Which we didn't.
Well, all is not yet lost, my fairy friend. We may still be able to change the past.
Snickety told us that some guy named Mr. Bonbon was building a candy factory near the village, and it sounded like he convinced them to fund his operation. It sounded pretty sketchy. Maybe that's what we needed to know?
Ah, yes. Mr. Jeffrey Bonbon, he very much does have a part to play.
Sound familiar?
Did he cause all of this? Is he the one responsible?
I'm not sure. Oh, but I do happen to know a particular moment where you might discover more. Yes, Jeffrey Bonbon. I shall await your return. Good luck.
Okay, now I
don't
think...
mind the chat message.
Yeah, we get to decide when to go in. So, the thing that we needed to learn from that chapter was about Jeffrey Bonbon. What are some other names we pitched for him? I think like Jonathan Jellybean or something.
Yeah.
Jonathan Beanzos. We thought that was
Yeah.
too on the nose.
Yeah. We workshopped a few different names. I don't quite remember what they all were, but they were all somewhere along that line. They all had a candy pun.
But also, it's not supposed to be anybody, but also it is.
Yeah.
Originally, I was trying to study his voice to like match it, and then I got the feedback that it was like, let's just be sillier. This is Candyworld. Again, an example of this mismatch of ideas.
Mm-hmm.
So he opened up the next place for us. He's like, oh yes, my heart is telling me go this way. This is the next thing you need to know. And the idea was we wanted this act structure of these different chapters where the beginning was very grand, as we like to do with our maps. Obviously didn't come through here, where it's like everything is devastated. Then we wanted a chapter where everything was great, and it was like old Candyworld back to normal. And then we wanted a harsh transition where a bunch of people died and the town got destroyed and everybody's being attacked. And then we wanted a chapter that capitalized on that and was all like straight horror. And what ended up happening is this next chapter that we're about to do was supposed to be that, and it ended up being the longest chapter in a disproportionate way because we were like, oh, well, we're making a horror map, right? So the horror part has to be longer. Like, let's draw this out a little bit more. Mistakes were made.
And so, some of the horror effects that were planned weren't ever fully, or some of them I hadn't even gotten to yet, like flickering lights, and I think there's like at one point, like a pipe is supposed to like burst, and there's like a steam right in your face. But there's just a sign there saying "add steam here."
And there are a lot of really cool things that we planned for that section. So before we go, I want to tell you what is supposed to happen in this next scene, because as I recall, it's really unclear. So what's supposed to happen in this next scene, you can sort of see a preview there, is we are traveling to the opening of the candy factory. So that thing they were building in Butterscotch Village was like an offshoot plant of the new candy factory. And here we're going to meet Jeffrey Bonbon for the first time. He's on the balcony, sort of a Willy Wonka character, promising all sorts of delightful things to the crowd. And the crowd is all excited. Yay, we love candy. Sweet Tooth makes an appearance, then upgraded Sweet Tooth from his old texture. And here's the grand opening, and I'm going to give you a tour. And it starts out looking like, we're going to do like a Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory tour. And then what is supposed to happen is Sugar Rush approaches the entrance, and out of a pipe, a purple, horrible tentacle shoots out of the pipe, grabs Sugar Rush, and pulls her into the pipe, and she disappears into the factory. And that is supposed to be a very visual cinematic moment where just unexplained tentacle through the pipe, pulling Sugar Rush in. We need to go save Sugar Rush, and this chapter is about saving Sugar Rush. The tentacle was never made, and I don't know why.
somehow that never got made. And instead, there's gonna be a nightmare shadow particle monster thing that comes out and grabs her.
But also, that's a misunderstanding of the story, because stuff about the nightmare is not meant to show up until the end of the map. Because we don't want to draw that parallel to the original yet, you know? And so I was like, why are we seeing this character that's supposed to appear later? Anyway, you'll see in a moment, but again, what is supposed to happen is this opening goes wrong and he shuts down everything as Sugar Rush gets kidnapped by some mysterious tentacle monster.
Yep.
Thrust into the cracks of time and space yet again, our heroes did not know where the Keeper of Time had sent them, but they had a lead. Was this Mr. Jeffrey Bonbon the culprit? They were about to find out.
So, 5 years ago. So the previous chapter was 15 years ago. This is
Whoa.
5 years ago.
Quite a crowd. Wait, do you think this is Mr. Bonbon's candy factory that Snickety told us about? It's so big.
I do love the image that is presented here. It's really nice. I wanted a bigger crowd, but you can hear the crowd is supposed to be huge.
I'm sure I need no introduction, but for those of you who don't know, you may call me Mr.
Oh, sorry, this is not an opening. It's 10th anniversary.
And today I am proud to announce that the Bonbon Candy
They're
Factory
sweet
is
tooth.
celebrating its 10-year anniversary.
Woo!
Yes, yes, thank you, thank you.
Great animations.
Yeah, that's right. Who wants some candy?
We do love candy.
Again, audio balancing issues. That's his only line.
Yep. He just
So
has a
he's
kid.
charismatic. People are buying into it.
Brand new patented and trademarked Bonbon Candy Prime. It's far more delicious than anything you've ever
Bonbon
tasted
Candy
before,
Prime.
thanks to our secret ingredients and cutting-edge technology. And with the 10th anniversary today at the factory,
It's a nice
we're pulling
factory.
back the curtain. And in just a few moments, you will get to participate in a self-guided tour of our facility. You'll be able to see how we make Bonbon Candy from start to finish.
No nuance in the crowd, definitely.
I just want to thank
Yeah.
every single one of you for entrusting and investing in me.
Notice the way he
Through your
speaks.
selflessness, you have ensured that Candyworld will
It's about
change
you, it's about you.
for the better. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. Oh, don't worry about that, folks. Just some of the machinery inside, hard at work.
Also, it's the same animation for cheering.
This isn't happening.
Yeah.
He's supposed to say something, isn't he?
He does in a moment. I'm pretty sure.
I don't think so.
Oh no, there he goes. It's just much quieter.
Oh yeah, it's just not well balanced. But that his facade sort of falls away, and he's like, "What the heck is going on here? You know, this is supposed to be my moment.
Yeah.
You know, try and cover this up." So, you know, showing this charismatic billionaire guy who's like, "You are the ones who did it. You are the ones, and you're the ones who are benefiting, and this is all about you. And it's cutting edge technology. We're gonna make you part of it." And you know.
No. It's everything I have. My wife. Please, has anyone seen my wife?
This is also these barks are supposed to be in a different chapter.
Yeah.
You can see
I
some
just
new
turned them off,
variants
so
of
they
them.
should. Or
No, you didn't.
why did that not go through? I don't know.
Well, anyway,
Uh,
you could see some other variants of the townspeople.
Save us!
You want to try again?
I'm not sure why that's not working. I literally tested it, but hang on. Maybe if I turn it on and then off
This is
again.
happening! This isn't happening!
Let's see. Do they still do it?
Of course, they're all so smiley.
Someone!
Well, I don't know why they're.
Okay, let's just go. They're not going to be in there. So, Bonbon leaves, or he's still there, but he's trying to calm the crowd or whatever. We got to go save Sugar Rush. Let's go through on what was supposed to be a self-guided tour of the factory. And this is where we sort of went in with the horror.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Bon Bon Candy Factory, which features
Gold statue of himself.
Bon Bon branded technology created by our incredible team here, who work tirelessly to bring you the
It's all
flavors
about
you
the
have all come
team.
to enjoy. Why, one employee recently finished a 36-hour shift. That's the kind of dedication we need to have here.
Labor
Before you
conditions.
is a statue of myself welcoming you into the heart of our company. Please proceed to the right to begin a tour of this facility.
That's also been supposed to like loop and be over the loudspeakers, but
Yeah.
This is the chocolate melting room. Melted chocolate is a key ingredient in most Bon Bon candy.
I was sort of
Most
inspired.
chocolate is first tempered
I
with
wrote these
chocolate
lines, I
candies
think.
and then brought here for processing.
Yeah, I think you wrote
Sort of
these.
inspired by the chocolate ride at Hershey Park in Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Hmm.
Like, this is where we melt the chocolate.
Yeah.
I love the ambient background, the like the heartbeat, sort of very subtle. I don't know if it's coming through.
Yeah,
the
it's
movie,
the.
too.
Yeah, it's pretty quiet, but it's the slight music that's here before
Yeah.
things get crazy.
Steam. So this is
Okay.
supposed to be a big steam blast, and these things are supposed to be a jump scare with the electricity. None of it really came together, unfortunately.
Yeah, and like all these lights you kind of see on the ceiling, those are all supposed to be like flickering and maybe sparking a bit. I just
Yeah.
haven't gotten to it.
You can imagine
Okay.
if all these things were working, the place would feel a lot creepier, feel a lot more alive.
Yeah.
And uh-oh, what are these monsters doing here? Again, these are monsters that were not in the original, so we don't know where they came from, but they seem to be in here.
Hmm.
It's way too distorted for you to understand it, but I'll just tell you what he's saying. He's like, oh, well, how do we keep our prices so low on such a luxury product? Well, what we do is our innovative pricing method, where we basically sell things at a loss so that we corner the market and drive everyone else out of business, which is the strategy that made Amazon so successful, is pricing themselves out of the market, or rather, pricing themselves so low that they lose tons of money, but no other businesses can keep up with it, so then they're on top of the food chain. That's an oversimplification, but that was what he was trying to say.
And there's a lot of these, which I think this is where there was a little bit of miscommunication, but where they are like super distorted and you can't even tell what's being said.
Yeah, you're supposed to be able to hear them.
Yeah, like I know there's a few lines coming up that it's just distortion, and it's like,
Hold on, I
well,
want to pull
there's
this.
no line left.
I want to pull the script up, see if I can find it.
Oh, okay,
Let me pull the script up. Sugary
and that's something
Scream,
we could have fixed,
script
but
on Google Drive. 1 second. Let me pull it up here. Sugary Scream script. Here it is. Let's see. We're in chapter 2. So Jeffrey talks. So the thing that we missed outside is he says, "Come back in an hour, though, and I'll have more free candy for you." Tries to turn off his mic. Popsicle sticks, not again. What did I say to you? Keep your minions in line. That's what I said. No, don't eat anyone. This is a professional business. So wonder who he's talking to there. And he goes, first Butterscotch Village, Rock Candy Falls, Cupcake Valley, now this. What's next? And the microphone abruptly turns off. So that suggests he may have been responsible somehow for Butterscotch Village, for what happened 15 years ago.
yeah.
Let me see the audio tour here. This eventually forces smaller candy companies to partner with us for a fee, of course. Okay, yeah, let's go.
Yeah. Yeah, like this one's completely distorted.
Here he says, this is where we generate our power. We harness energy from natural resources only. It turns out the best power source we have is right beneath all of our feet. This energy and this energy alone provides power for all company facilities and provides the extra spark that makes Bon Bon Candy unique. Be sure to stop by the gift shop at the end of the tour for a free Bon Bon chocolate egg. And is the thing later? Yeah, the thing is later when we see that. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is power generation. Ah! I forgot about that part. Now this is definitely by far the scariest mob in the game, possibly the scariest one we've ever made. I love the idea of this. They're like mouths, like disembodied growth mouths with licorice arms. They're supposed to be like those gummy dentures that they make. I don't think kids today will have seen that, but
maybe not. I don't know.
yeah, they're like gummy dentures that used to be popular, and they have these licorice arms, and God, they are frightening. If they were attacking properly.
Oh, they're chasing me. Or they were.
So we fall through the ground here, and this would have been a good opportunity to make the ceiling fall, but there's some hidden levers that we have to hit in order to get out of here.
Yeah. Yeah, I think originally this was supposed to be like a trash compactor sort of thing, and the ceiling was
Yes,
supposed
it
to
is the
lower
trash
it.
compactor.
Although I know when I was working on this, it was like, wait, how does this work with the big hole in the ceiling?
It was supposed to be just you solve a puzzle here, and we didn't know what the puzzle was, and we sort of shorted ourselves on that. We were like,
yeah, that was one
Red
thing
knows
with
how
the
to make
planning
puzzles.
stage. Yeah, that was one thing with the planning stage. It was like, all right, let's have puzzles here. What kind of puzzle? We don't know. And there's a lot of sections of that. So I mean, this one
normally
was
we would have planned that
simplest.
out, but again, we cut too much.
Yeah, this one
we were
it
too
was just like
distracted.
find 3 levers.
Which I cannot find the last one. Oh,
Just
you
did
got
the
it.
last
Okay.
one.
Yes, so it's supposed to be the trash compactor that you fall into. Let me put on some of this other armor here. I'm taking the helmet off just for cutscenes and stuff.
Yeah.
Something else that you were supposed to hear there was distant gibberish from some sort of monster,
Yeah.
according to the script.
Which I think was there. It's just not quite.
Yeah,
revealed
not
yet.
balanced. So here what Jeffrey is saying is, as you pass through one of our purification centers, I'd like to highlight our employee safety program. Any toxic chemicals are pumped out of the facility and safely into the river. Now that's not supposed to play until you can actually see. What's supposed to happen is you're supposed to come into this room and see this big reveal over here that is showing all the gross stuff being pumped into the water. And they have that like on display as if it's this great thing. Unfortunately, the texture is kind of blocking it, but you can see here, this is the view we were supposed to have, and this is like taking a look at all the gross stuff they're pumping into the water, and he's proud of it, and he says, any toxic chemicals are pumped out of the facility and safely into the river. This has given our staff one of the highest safety ratings in all of Candyworld. We care about our employees and will continue to adopt practices to make sure we care for them. That's a bonbon guarantee. After all, we're a family. Never a good sign when companies call you family. It means they're gonna expect you to do all sorts of extra work and do all sorts of expectations, looking out for each other rather than paying you fairly. This is a trend that happens especially these days that people need to look out for. We talked briefly about having, in the script, there's a comment that says, what if we had like screens with pixel art of Jeffrey's face, so it's like we can see him narrating, which would have been cool. Just like a couple frames of that to further put his face with the voice.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we did talk about that, but I don't know if we ever did it.
And then it would like glitch sometimes. So like, yeah, this is the view that we wanted you to have, and it just didn't really come out. But it was supposed to be this great reveal moment. It's really a shame how many issues we had here, but the idea was solid.
A lot of little things.
Yeah.
That added up.
Anna says, I forgot I made those teeth things. Yeah, they are terrifying. Those are like, I think those and these guys, the scuba suit guys, are the best examples of the actual tone that we wanted to hit with this map. That would have been the perfect marriage of the camp of Candyworld, the silliness of it, with the horror, and then everything else sort of got muddied.
Yeah.
Everything else was made fantastically. It was an issue with the direction. and communication, as I've said. So we've got this fire sign here, and this is, for some reason, I guess these are like pipes or something that are spraying fire. You got to make it past these.
Mm-hmm. They are supposed to have like a fire sound, but I don't think it was ever added to the pack.
Yeah, I quite like the.
So
the
they're
effects.
they're
Very
just
nice.
silent. Yeah. You just barely made that one.
Yeah, so this is we're without the sound, you know, it's kind of a lot less intense. This is supposed to be a very Mission Impossible kind of feeling moment. The sound does a lot of that work when you're trying to do scenes like that, especially in Minecraft with limited visual options and lighting options. And I believe there was supposed to be a glimpse of the cupcake monster here.
Oh, really?
Or at least it was
I wasn't aware
discussed.
of that.
Yeah, it was. I think it was discussed to sort of be another like hint that you're approaching some horrible thing that has Sugar Rush.
Mm.
There could have been a lot of cool stuff there with like moving platforms and stuff to make that a little bit more interesting.
Yeah.
These are very cool. These like, what are they? Gingerbread? Are they butterscotch? Caramel?
I think they're supposed to be peanut butter.
Oh yeah, peanut butter
goblins
bats.
are their names. or
Some
or
sort
is what
of
they're
peanut
called.
butter bat, I think.
Yeah. I like them.
Yeah, they are cool, and they also provide a different kind of challenge with their flight.
Yeah. And for this section, I sort of placed it was like, I just want there to be a swarm for their introduction. Which I think worked pretty well just for, you know, that initial visual of the whole room coming towards you.
Yeah. Again, could have been made better with a grant.
Yeah. Almost had it.
Ah, here we go. Some diamond. Candy cane leggings.
I totally forgot. We would buy like a secret chest that has a whole bunch of diamond armor
Eh.
that I hid away, but oh well. We don't need it. Despite me not having a chest plate anymore.
And you can tell, just like the lights flickering would add a whole lot to this.
Yeah,
You know?
that was one of the
Um,
big things I wanted to do, but I just didn't get to it.
It's like just as an example of things that are like, you know, it feels very empty, and it's like, really, you guys were thinking that it would look like this? A lot is added from the sound and just little visuals. So, you know, ambient sounds of like little sounds here and there that you don't know where they're coming from. Better balancing of the music. These lights flickering. We could have added like drips from somewhere. You know, stuff coming out of the walls. You know, better lighting where we could have had, you know, the moon directly overhead for a nice cinematic view. We could have had, you know, some glass breaking, and when the bats came through, you know, all these little things that had we had more time and more budget, you know, would have really added to that vibe we were going for. That would have made it feel a lot more like an Everbloom map.
Yeah.
Oh, what was that?
A door opened. Which isn't the most clear thing.
No,
'Cause I
it's
think
not.
Yeah. Because I think the original plan was, which, I mean, this is basically the same thing, is you have to go in there to open the door to the security and office area.
Yeah.
But
where did
we had
go?
also talked about having these, I'm blanking on the word, but like
Like claws.
These claw things.
Yeah.
Dropping enemies and mobs in here.
Or even
but-
picking you up would be cool.
Oh, I mean, we didn't talk about that one, but yeah. It was,
Well, no, I was just thinking.
Yeah. It's a
So
potential
where did
thing.
it open?
Yeah. So it opens the door that's back here that we passed in the previous room.
That's so weird.
Yeah. I think originally it was supposed to be like a key or something you would find, but the lever was just.
You have one.
We had the
Okay,
idea to
pretty
do these motivational
Hello?
posters.
Anyone still in
Oh,
the
listen.
factory? We need to shut down the machines so we can clean this mess up. Why is no one answering any of my calls? I knew we pushed up operations too early.
So there's sort of a message on his phone here. This is a great Candy phone. If I, shouldn't be able to hit it, but
Well, yeah.
there's sort of a number of references to our other maps in here, intentional or not. The motivational posters. We had some motivational posters of Candyworld in City Mashup that are in the library and a lot of the office buildings that are really cool. So this is sort of in that style. The phone being on the desk like this. I mean, obviously, it's a phone on the desk, but reminds me of the Enderman heists, the main lobby where you would receive your missions.
Yeah.
Hang in there. That's great. And he's featured in all of them because he's so egotistical. Now coming up here is a moment that I thought would be cool, where you walk by and there's like a factory worker running away in terror, but it doesn't quite work.
I think for some reason the factory worker doesn't get tagged with the thing to teleport him. I'm not sure fully why. I'm guessing it was just like I was tagging him too early and he wasn't like actually there yet or something. Something like that. But the monster moves, but he doesn't.
So these things are also excellent. The creature design in this game is excellent. This is this horrible, gross ice cream face thing. I believe I pitched the idea that if we had like an ice cream cone face with no facial features and like you don't know how they see, and that would be really scary, sort of almost like a mask. And they're just sort of dripping with all this ice cream and other gross stuff, and the way the ice cream cone is sort of almost like a snout or like a trunk from an elephant is very cool. We're gonna get a closer look at them later. But those are quite intimidating. Beautiful creatures. I'm gonna pull up some of the art at the end of the stream, so stick around for that. Is it this way? Get a little lost.
Yes, this is the way.
There he is. Look at this guy and he's got the asymmetry on the limbs is great as well. You can see he's got various like wafer or butterscotch and these candy canes, and they shoot things out of their snout, but it's a little hard to tell because the projectiles aren't super clear.
I also think I hadn't fit. This was the one that are like this regular mob, but I didn't get the attack animation working quite right.
But
'Cause I
yeah,
think he's
these guys
supposed
have
to,
some
like,
cool
swing
stuff.
his-
Yeah, swing his scepter.
Yeah. as
This
a
is
melee
honestly, this would have been one of my favorite monsters in Everbloom's history. A lot of these guys are some of the best designed monsters we've ever had. We did put a lot of thought and effort into the design of these, even before concept art. And so that added a lot. But like I said, that was all in pre-production when everybody was really fully on board with it. So shows that pays off.
Yeah.
What's supposed to
Oh, I
happen
think
in
this
here?
room, it was very vague on what we wanted, but think essentially we wanted basically like a fan, like that could push you
Yeah.
or something. But when I was trying to implement it, it wasn't reading quite right. At least in my like prototyping of it, like it just didn't feel good. And I ended up taking that part out, and was going to revisit it, but didn't get to that. I'm pretty sure if you fall down though, like
Yeah, I see a
teleport
monster
back to
there.
the start. Yeah, the teleport works, but the rest of it Currently nothing happens
Oh,
there.
but when you hit the chocolate dogs, that sounds so sad.
They just do a little bit.
He says, here you can see our distribution hub. From here, we ship Bonbon Candy all across Candyworld. From King Candy to the most common commoner, everyone deserves to have a taste of the Bonbon brand. And sort of showing, you know, his elitism a little bit. But it's all masked by this consumer first or employee first, seeming employee first ideology.
Yeah.
I did quite like what we were doing with the character.
Yeah, I do too. I think we just probably, you know,
We didn't
as we
execute
discussed
it.
before, could have executed it better. And I think maybe we should, like we talked about, like lean more into the campiness of it all.
Yeah.
Which wasn't fully coming through.
I think part of the problem is we didn't know what we wanted, right? I think what everybody wanted was the camp, and what everyone was told we had to want was the horror, because that was what was going to make this financially viable.
Yeah.
Now this, I don't like this puzzle. I mean, I like the puzzle, but I don't like the way it was implemented. Also, you can see it's being teleported, which is just a visual bug due to the way that teleports in Minecraft work.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch you solve this.
Oh, well, I know how to solve this. It's super simple. Although I think I did do one change that you'll appreciate from when you last saw this. There's now an indication.
That's so lazy.
No, it's literally just a firework.
That's so
when you
funny.
swap
Yeah.
it.
I was very excited to see what new particle you made.
Oh no, I didn't make any new particle because like you went through the map and we're like, okay, we might be canceling.
TRS says we can't see this. Let's just put a firework there.
Yeah, I was just like, okay, well, I'll put a firework for now and make something better later.
Yeah.
In case, you know, we are actually continuing the map, so it's just a firework.
Yeah, we did a lot of discussion before we decided ultimately to do this stream.
Yeah.
This is not a decision made lightly, I assure you.
Yeah. But yeah, basically you just have to flip the levers and it alternates where the track is, or basically the connection point for the track, like which way the minecart will go. And your goal is to get the minecart all the way to the end of this like puzzle.
It's rather annoying that you can't walk on them, because otherwise that would allow you to push the minecart, which would break the puzzle. But it means that it's harder to navigate.
Yeah, it's also a little hard to know exactly where you're changing things. Because some of the levers...
What I suggested, I believe, was the lever should have redstone dust on the ground leading to where the result is. And that could have added something like a wire, you know?
Yeah. So, like, this lever here...
Yeah.
This lever here, for instance, activates that firework. But, like, while you're activating this one, you can't tell that that's actually what it's doing.
Right.
But I think the little firework thing, even though it's the laziest thing ever, at least provides some indication. Let's see, is that pointed the right way now? I have no clue. Yes, that's right. I flipped it so many times.
Let me... Sorry. Window.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Alright, so that should get it to the end where the puzzle kind of... Oh, wait, nope. Got that wrong. Where the puzzle kind of changes and you now have buttons that you have to press, like, when it's...
I like that.
To alternate it.
That's a nice addition.
So, let's see, alright. It's coming.
Reminds me of a really old Nox Crew game show game where you had, like, one person going through an obstacle course and another person had to, like, press buttons to the right time.
Yeah. Go, goes in. Oh, and there was supposed to be a sound for that, but I don't think I added that in.
Now these are the fans that are supposed to push you up, which I think is pretty cool. I do think it would have been worth just making a quick model for this so that it could like really spin up and it would like really have a cool effect. But this is a very cool mechanic, I think. We could have used it a lot better to like have a big tower.
Yeah, I didn't get around to it, but there was going to be some particles, like sort of wind particles. And let's see, and these ones on the side were supposed to like blow you in like different directions, but that did not feel good at all. So I took that out for a moment.
And also particles would have helped, like, you know, to have little squiggly lines showing things going up, little dust.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Oh, Candy Night. Oh, Candy Night. Where are you? Don't you want to save me?
So this did not make any sense at all. It was supposed to be distorted audio. It's supposed to be the cupcake monster impersonating Sugar Rush and being like in your head like, "Oh, Candy Night, don't you want to save me?" And it came through, because it wasn't adjusted, it came through as far less kid-friendly than I wanted it to.
Yeah.
If you get what I mean.
Yeah. It definitely didn't quite read how we were wanting it to. And
yeah. But this was also like, so sort of an illusion of Sugar Rush here.
Yeah.
There was also some miscommunication, I think, with the sound team as well, of like, I'm not sure where the communication broke down, but again, I think it was just long times between actual work. Things. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen some sort of thing in these tubes.
Yeah, these were supposed to be like
one of them broke out.
Corrupted, like liquid or something. I ended up, I think, removing, like, it just had water in it, but you couldn't even tell what it was inside of it. So I put like purple glass to kind of showcase like something different in it.
This way, my knight. It's a portal to the beyond. We can save the day.
Not sure what's happening here.
You get thrown when, well, I'll explain it with this then.
Destroyer of nightmares, royal guard of King Candy. The legends about you appear to be heavily exaggerated. If you are the Candyworld's hope, Tim's plan of mine will be a cakewalk. Devour them.
So that was supposed to be this guy talking. Again, I envision him a little bit bigger, but this is a phenomenal model. Excellent texture from John. Look at this thing. I mean, it's a beast. It's got all sorts of great detail and different types of candy, and it's gorgeous. But what was supposed to happen was, again, that nightmare particle thing is not supposed to show up until the very end of the game. The idea was the nightmare is possessing this monster, and the monster was the one doing the talking. This monster goes through different iterations over the years. So, like, this is sort of like its baby form of what it is. And that was supposed... This is the thing that where it's like its tentacle came out and grabbed Sugar Rush. That's what it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be... He grabs you, he brings you over here, and we see Sugar Rush is trapped up there. Again, that whole sequence was just kind of made no sense.
Yeah, so
in theory it makes sense, but it was not executed properly.
So how I envisioned it when I was making that was I was under the impression that the shadow monster was supposed to be there, or the nightmare. And basically, the fake Sugar Rush turns into the nightmare, but it was masquerading as her, and then it throws you over here, and then it tosses you for a moment, flies away, leaves you to fight this monster.
We also just can't throw around terms like transform into in a script and expect the art team to just do it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, so that was another flaw, sort of.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know what you've been through, but while
Also, something about the timing of this with the music makes it seem like she's still corrupted. She's fine, but it seems
well, it's
suspicious.
It's because the music takes a while to fade out.
One we defeated years ago that took over Lord Sugarbones. But this one's different.
So this is like a worse nightmare.
It is working with Mr. Bonbon. To what end, I don't know. But that portal over there leads straight into the beyond. Maybe Bonbon is
That's the
siphoning
nightmare
energy
dimension from the first game.
and power from it.
Yeah.
That would explain these candy monsters we've never seen before. There's another orb. Let's return to the tower and regroup.
So, yeah, it's a little, this dialogue's just too stilted, I think, from the compared to everything else around it. But basically she's like, oh, that's where all these monsters came from. That's who Jeffrey was talking to at the beginning. Must have been the nightmare. He's working with this new nightmare, this shadow monster thing, to harness energy from the beyond, which is where all the monsters come from. This is in the first game. All the monsters come from the beyond, and it's this sort of plane of nothing. It's like a purgatory, but it's full of monsters. And there's a portal here. Why is there a portal here in his factory? So the idea is that line where he was like, all the power we need is right beneath our feet. It was not a well-written line, but it was supposed to be like, actually all the power he's getting is coming from the beyond and these monsters. And so it's corrupting everything, and he's also polluting everything as well.
Yeah. I think one other thing, when I was originally writing this script, that didn't quite translate, I imagined that for this section where you're fighting that monster and the portal is over there, I was imagining that like underneath the factory rather than outside of it, like here on like a dock sort of thing. That was one thing I was imagining, like it was deep down hidden inside. But I think.
But while it was being built, you were working on one of our theme parks.
Else. Yeah. And I probably didn't go over to build as much as I should have, and sort of just hand waved it a little bit, of like, oh yeah, that looks fine.
Same, absolutely the same. To be honest, I may not have reviewed this build. I was probably like, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah,
I really should have.
Yeah, I mean that was a mistake on my part, which I should not have done. But, or maybe at the time I like saw this and was like, I guess that can work too. It's not quite what I was envisioning, but it should be fine. It may have been a little bit of both of that.
But we were really rushing things because the high-profile projects needed so much of our attention.
Yeah.
Oh.
Right.
Oh my goodness. Well, welcome back to the present, heroes. Forgive me, that rush of information when you first return here can be quite dizzying.
Again, covering up a plot hole. How does he know what happened?
If finding Mr. Bonbon was harvesting energy from a portal to the beyond and using it to run his candy factory counts, then yes.
Indeed. It seems the ambitions of Jeffrey are, at least in part, what led us to the end.
I still don't understand how one factory can have such an enormous effect on all of Candyworld.
The portal must have grown and corrupted the output of that factory and drastically changed, well, everything. Candyworld simply isn't made to sustain such corruption. And when one piece of it falls apart, the effects can be felt everywhere. Earthquakes, storms, eruptions, flooding, the list is endless. Not to mention all the mutated monsters that come from all the disasters.
Was no one trying to stop him? Anyone in that crowd? His own employees? Anyone? They had to have known what he was doing, right? So why was no one stopping him? King Candy? Sugar Bones? No one!
Life is rarely that simple, my friend. Sadly, I think there is one final moment you need to see. I actually know this moment very well. I used to travel back and forth to it again and again, trying to change things. It broke me, physically and mentally. It was too late. I hate to do this to you both, but I think you need to see it. The moment where everything ended.
So before we go, let's talk about what just happened. Anything you want to add, Red?
I don't know. Not too much. Basically, it's just like setting up, we're about to see the end of the world, and the Keeper of Time's just like, before you go stop Jeffrey, you need to see what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sort of also Sugar Rush in her naivete, always being the naive character, is like, you know, Amazon or Bonbon Candy is, you know, abusing employees and using the Beyond energy and doing all these terrible things. Why didn't anybody stop them? Everyone sees what they're doing. Why didn't anybody stop them? Everyone knows this is wrong, right? And you could sort of see the parallels that we were trying to make there of, you know, everybody knows it's wrong. Why, you know, a child would think,
why does it continue?
Yeah, why does it continue if everybody knows it's wrong? Why are we, you know, having people in power and who that we know are not doing a good job? And rather than have to explain how the entire world works, we just say life is complicated.
Yeah.
But I do think that exchange was nice. All right, so as we approach here, we're gonna meet a great character played by Abigail Turner. Abigail Turner also did all the other female Barks in this game, and this you'll know it when we see it. Was directly inspired by Triffany Laudablog from Bugsnax. Fantastic game, highly recommend you play it. It's got a similar vibe of like, everything is cutesy and fun and campy until it's not. And then things get real serious real fast. I won't spoil anything about the game, but she's sort of this Midwestern mom type that's an archaeologist, this character in Bugsnax, and I really wanted to capture that sort of feeling that she's just so friendly and means so well. And we're going to meet her in a little bit, but I think had everything been executed properly, the planned emotional arc and intensity of this game actually is really excellent among our maps. That like that low of like, oh, everything is great, and then you arc into this big disaster as a spike, and then you go way down into this and coast through this sort of horror, and then you have another big spike as you end this chapter, and you're told, okay, now let's see the big thing that happened that everybody keeps talking about, this calamity. And this is supposed to be the climax here, this chapter. We were like, okay, we can spare, we can you know, save money in other places, but let's actually put all of our effort into this chapter because we need to make the apocalypse epic. We need to show all of these things that are happening, how it happened. It didn't all come through, but some of it did, and it's still okay. But it could have been more.
Yeah, it needed a little bit more. A little bit more work.
And the artists did not like all the tentacles we were making them do.
With the mystery of how Candyworld fell into ruin finally coming together, our heroes had to investigate one more moment. Discouraged by learning that the Keeper of Time himself tried many times to alter this one moment, our heroes needed a plan. But if the Keeper couldn't do it, who could?
Looks like we're in Sugar Bear Forest.
This is 1 year
It's
ago.
been a while since we've been here. And it looks like the volcanoes have already started erupting. Oh, we're close to the final event. Oh, and a tornado coming from over there. Yes, this is bad.
So we sort of shoehorned that line in to be like, so the actual thing that caused the big flood and everything happened. So she sort of listed it there. So there's a big volcano that's about to erupt with chocolate. There's a tornado headed this way, and there's a dam that it's going to collide into, and all these three things are going to happen at once, and everything's going to flood and be, you know, the end of Candyworld. And the other thing about the audio, I think, is that a lot of the audio was unusable because of like cars and stuff in the background, and so the take selection was a lot harder. Because I know we have better takes for some of these characters, but I think that some of the audio just wasn't working. So yeah, here we are, right before the apocalypse happens. The fog is kind of ruining a bit of the effect, I think we'll see it closer over there, but there's supposed to be this big reveal of the volcano, of like, oh yeah, okay, here it is. It's coming. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can see this is more of the candy stuff, but with all the destruction, it's hard to tell with all the fire.
Yeah. One of the well, actually, the fire wasn't here originally. I added it in because it was like it doesn't look destroyed enough.
No, that added a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, like the jelly is supposed to not be here, meaning, like it's here because things are corrupted, not because they're normally here.
Yeah. Like one thing I didn't get to add was I wanted like sort of like when a volcano erupts in like a video game or whatnot. There's like the little meteors that kind of come flying out the top. I wanted to do something
it's
like
not
that
erupting yet.
Yeah, but like just the rumble. Another thing
it's active.
was, yeah. Another thing was it going to be like maybe some camera shakes as you're walking through, as like the world is like sort of shaking a little bit.
Yeah, and also the render distance was kind of a problem. We were trying to figure out how to get you close enough to this thing to make sure that people on 6 render distance could see it, which is what most people are on.
Yeah,
but that's so short.
Never thought
Yeah,
I'd see the day
we
that
wanted
the
all these
top of the
effects,
volcano
but
actually erupted.
everything was much
We
more
should try
spread
and
out.
find shelter.
You can see one of the tentacles up there, one of the chocolate tentacles.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the volcano's about to erupt. Let's try and find shelter. We've got this beautiful geodesic dome here. I think this part maybe needed some music.
Yeah, I think there is music. For some reason, this track is just really quiet. I think. If I remember correctly. I don't know. Maybe I forgot to put music in this section. That's also.
I mean, you can hear a lot of ambience as well.
Yeah. Oops, sorry. I did not mean to hit you there.
I'm lost.
Where did it spawn you? You shouldn't be that far back, I think.
Oh yeah, I'm real far.
Or... Oh wait, you're ahead of me.
Oh, am I ahead of you?
Or... Wait.
Where are you?
Oh no, wait. Oh, you're back at the very beginning of this chapter.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, here
Sorry,
you
I looked over at the stream and it showed me. It was a little bit more delayed than I thought it was.
Hello? Anyone there?
Hello. Thank you for stopping by Professor Tiffany Twist's research dome.
It's supposed to be like a
If you
voicemail.
are a monster,
Yeah.
please kindly go bother someone else. If you are a normal person, please say, please let me in.
Please let me in?
Welcome, normal person.
No sound there for the door.
Wait a minute. I know who y'all are. You're Sugar Rush and the Candy Night.
Of course, she
Yeah,
sounds the
that's
same as she did on the
us.
voicemail, which is weird.
I
Yeah,
didn't
there
realize
was
we
just
were
no
that
effect on
famous.
the.
Oh,
First
no, you're not. Well, to me, you are. I mean, it's just, I remember seeing
Great design.
you two in King Candy's court years ago. The tales of your accomplishments are quite impressive. I'm Professor Tiffany Twist. You can call me Tiffany, though.
Well,
Music's a little loud as well.
it's nice to meet you, Professor Twist.
Call me Tiffany.
Well, Tiffany, we're on a quest to try and reverse the end of the world.
It's a bit late for that, no? Lots of fire and destruction outside, if you hadn't noticed.
It's never too late.
Listen, darling. I've been around a while to understand when to give up. We've been monitoring the weather patterns here, and any day now that tornado's gonna arrive, fling everything, including the hot chocolate magma, into the air, and it's all gonna smash together in perfect harmony at the Great Chocolate Dam just a ways from here.
And you all are just standing in the line of fire?
When that dam breaks, it's all over. Anywhere we go will be affected. All we can do now is just wait.
We're pretty sure the cataclysm started because of Mr. Bonbon's candy factory.
Preaching to the choir. Everyone knows that dang factory ain't doing anybody any good. That factory is bad news, but saying the factory itself is responsible
This
for
is
all this, that's a stretch.
4 years after.
I haven't
the
seen
last
Jeffrey in well over a
chapter.
decade. worked together a long time
yes.
ago at a candy technology startup in Cake Valley.
Cake Valley,
We were
like
good
Silicon
friends
Valley.
back then, before we split, and after I told him I wanted our technology to be environmentally sustainable. All he cared about was efficiency and money, and his candy factory functioned with that philosophy.
Yeah, pretty much. He harvested energy from the beyond, which further corrupted and polluted everything, which led to, well, this.
Really over-explaining
beyond.
things.
Jeffrey would never do that. Sure, he was always taking shortcuts with our technology, but he knows better than to touch that realm. Tampering with the beyond is never a good thing, and the monsters that live there are hungry to devour worlds like ours. You don't mean to tell me that the monsters all over the place are from the beyond? Walk with me. If it's true that the cataclysm was caused by Jeffrey's tech and in
She's gonna
connection to
keep
the
on talking
beyond,
for a while.
we could have avoided this if he had adopted more environmentally friendly tech instead. Everything in this dome I created with the intention of sustainability.
Wow, this must be some pretty cutting-edge stuff in here.
Actually, stuff like this has been around for decades. It's nothing that revolutionary. Just hard to get it off the ground when folks like Jeffrey and King Candy are more focused on immediate results.
Why doesn't everyone do this? Why didn't Mr. Bonbon?
Well, it isn't as profitable in the short term, but in the long term, it would have been so much better. If I could go back and do it all over again, I would try and get Jeffrey to see sense.
Well, we might be able to do something about that.
Wait, what do you mean?
We're from the future. We're working with the Keeper of Time and plan to go back in time to stop Mr. Bonbon connecting with the beyond and causing the end of the world. But we don't exactly know how we're going to do that. We've been jumping through time figuring out what exactly happened.
Time travel. Keeper of Time. That's hard to believe. Wait, you're serious? Well, I've heard crazier stories. And considering we're just sitting here waiting for the volcano to erupt, the tornadoes to hit, and the dam to break, sure, why not? I'll humor you. If you're gonna try and stop Jeffrey, you should go back to when Jeffrey and I were working together. Though, if you ran into me in the past, I doubt I believe you.
It's important to me that she never totally
This is my
believes you.
current business card.
Yeah.
Past me would only be dreaming about this.
It's just too far-fetched.
Might get me to believe you.
Could you write something that would convince your past
She's
self
just sort of
that we're
humoring
telling
us
the
here.
truth?
You're really taking this time travel nonsense seriously, huh? I suppose. I don't know if it's just the impending doom talking, but, well, I hope this will help.
Thank you.
I don't know how time
So
travel or
she's supposed to give us
timeline
like a business
continuity
card.
works,
I have it.
but I wish
Oh,
you
you
luck,
have it.
heroes. Sounds like the volcano
I
is
don't know if
about
I
to
gave one to
erupt,
you too. You may.
No.
or
me
the
and you
dam is
correct.
about to break and flood everything.
Here, I'll toss it to you.
Either way, we'll be under hot chocolate before we know it.
Is there anything we can do?
Nope. Nothing can be done. It's too late for anything. We just wait here for the end. I should get back to the refugees here. Comfort them before...
Farewell, Professor.
I'm afraid we might not, little fairy. Farewell.
Very sad.
Alright. We need to find a time orb to get out of here. The Keeper of Time said it always appears at important locations in time. If it's not here at the dome, the volcano. It's probably at the volcano. That was the event that...
It's very Dora the Explorer. As you can tell,
Yeah.
I did not give good direction about the kind of theming of the style of all of the performances.
Yeah.
Because it changed so much over time.
What is happening? Isn't it?
Oh. Right.
Yeah, those barks are not supposed to be happening. So, I mean, I think the conversation, the text speaks for itself. But
Yeah.
she's like, okay, look, if you really want me to buy this time travel thing, I guess you'll need a business card or something, and I'll write. Tell you what, I'll write something on the back of it. We don't know what she wrote, but you know, sort
I
of
think
humoring us.
She reads it later on.
Yeah, she reads it later on.
Yeah, but it's a lot of like, okay, I don't really believe you, but just in case, I'll
So this-
humor you.
This coming sequence is supposed to be the big climax here, where you fight your way to the top of the volcano and all of these horrible things happen, and it's showing you just how truly terrible everything is. And we'll take a look here. It's gonna go quickly. You can see the tentacles here as well. Now, oh, here we go. Here's the music.
Yeah. There's the transition.
Yeah, so this is supposed to be kind of everything falling apart. If we had more time, I would have done like some acid rain or something. I would have done some, I don't know, some like lava kind of bubbling over in places. Maybe some of those meteors you mentioned.
Yeah.
With this big build-up, which is such a great build-up in that music. You could see the tentacles and sort of everything is on fire. And
Look out! Giant donuts!
the giant donuts, which were a thing that I really wanted to do.
Yeah.
They look way too silly. It was supposed to be really threatening.
Yeah.
But it is a cool effect.
Yeah.
And then,
they kind of pop in a little bit in a way I didn't like, but
Yeah.
that's just from render distance.
And then up here, we're going to see...
Hurry! That thing is huge.
She says that before we see it.
Wait, where?
Where is it?
Wait. I don't know. Why did it not spawn in?
Okay, will you
That's
trigger
weird.
it? Because I really want to see it.
I'll see if I can remember it. Hang on.
So this is supposed to be sort of the final evolved form of the cupcake monster, who appears in different forms throughout the game. The one we fought earlier, and this is another form of it. And it's not as big as I wanted it to be because it doesn't fit in the build. But when envisioning this scene, I was like, we need like a giant foot. Like we need this big like spidery cupcake thing just like crawling over the path, and it's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
But I'd really like to see it. Oh, here we go.
Here it comes.
Again, this beautiful texture and model. It's gorgeous. What I wanted to do is I wanted to have the build in Blockbench so that we could like animate each of the legs and make it like a really scary. Tell you what I was thinking of is this is a weird pull, but in Monsters Inc. You may already know where I'm going with this. In Monsters Inc. Mr. Waternoose, the bad guy boss, who's like a crab.
Mm-hmm.
I remember being so scared as a kid in that one scene where he's running down the hallway after Sully.
Oh, right.
And Boo, and his legs kind of go up on the wall in order to give himself some more speed. And it's just a little detail of the animation that was so scary to me. Because just seeing all of his legs moving, and it's just like creepy crawly. And that's what I really wanted to do here is I wanted to have the build there. I wanted each of the legs to articulate and kind of, crawl, and you could really feel it be spider-like. I wanted it to give you that chill of a spider or a crab. And I think it would have worked really well, but by the time we got here and I was like, why didn't we do that? I was told like, well, the build wasn't really ready. It was not really gonna fit. And then also that's an insanely large amount of work for an animator to do with this limited amount of time. And also we've spent a lot of money on this already. Like, the skittery spideriness of him.
I think one other thing, like, you wanted him to be absolutely massive.
I was imagining on my screen here, you see this like a foot over climbing over this thing and another foot over here and like going across the thing, and the build just wasn't made for it.
Yeah, no. Like I actually had to shrink down the model, I'm pretty sure, like its default.
Well, yeah, because the
size.
artist thought it was going to be bigger.
Yeah.
But
they didn't quite
the
fit.
detail on that texture is just gorgeous, and it's a real shame it didn't get to be released, but it is beautiful. And we're going to get a closer look at it later. But anyway, that's supposed to be this big climax of like, whoa, this thing is coming by. We need to get to the top of the mountain. The monsters are coming. You know, it really should be nighttime. The meteors, you know, are coming, and maybe we could start to see some, you know, water coming out. There are a lot of effects that would really have made this scene pop. That have,
Well,
would have made
one reason it's not nighttime is because then the fog would not be there.
Right.
It would not render the color correctly, and it just wouldn't work as well. But yeah, I agree. Like the sky needed to be darker.
In multiplayer, this doesn't feel as threatening, but in single player, it is.
Yeah.
The mobs here are pretty overwhelming, in a good way.
Yeah, that was another thing compared to the original. We were able to try and balance out how many mobs you were fighting in comparison. Because the original, it can get really overwhelming. Although this is the section that has probably the most enemies in the map.
I think I complained about this part.
Yeah.
Look at that, with the lollipop stuck in it. Beautiful. Is that a carrot?
A carrot?
Yeah, you see that? Oh, I think it's probably like candy corn.
Being swarmed by bats right now. So, where are you talking about?
On the tentacle.
Oh, on the thing?
You see it right there?
Yeah, there's a lollipop.
It's at the bottom, like partially in the.
Yeah, there's also one up higher as well. It almost looks like an apple.
What?
Yeah, like it's like poking out of it. Or maybe it's supposed to be like a candy wrapper.
If this had been the only thing we were working on, man, this scene would have been awesome.
Yeah.
It is a very cool image that I felt like, man, this is so like an Everbloom cinematic moment that I would have loved to see. It's still pretty cool, but I was thinking more Demogorgon-like. With the D&D.
Yeah, we probably could have gotten some cooler effects and stuff into this. If we had a little bit more time, we could have spent on it.
We keep saying a little bit. We mean a lot.
Yeah, okay, yeah, you're right. It would have been a lot more work. Which is one of the reasons why, you know.
And also, with our big, like, IP, high-profile projects, we have all of our developers working on this. Red is the only developer on this project.
Yeah. And it was basically hopping into this between other projects.
So, the monster is supposed to already be here, I think.
Wait, why the heck did that not trigger the portal? Oh, wait. Did we
need to hurry.
Okay, wait.
This volcano-
No.
Oh, Sugar Rush.
Somehow we missed the checkpoint. I don't know how that happened.
There's the
I think
time
we got
warp.
ahead of her.
Where is she? There she is.
We don't have much time.
Invisibility.
There's the time warp.
Yeah.
Let's get out of here.
Damn. That's freaking... Let's freaking go. That was pretty cool, but it was also really silly.
Yeah.
But Sugar Rush died! Sugar Rush got eaten! That was the big reveal that we were like, oh man, the fans are gonna be so mad at us. We killed Sugar Rush! That's the big, like, oh man, that's the big, you know, Joel in The Last of Us Part 2 scene.
I suppose Sugar Rush
Yeah.
There's still hope, dear Candy.
Definitely replay that part
You
of
can
the
still
stream.
avert this catastrophe.
Yeah.
I just hope you know what you're going to do, as I haven't the foggiest. Tiffany Twist.
You're supposed to be looking at the business card.
I think I see
Yeah.
what you're getting at. Let's see here. Good luck, my friend.
So,
We're all counting on you.
because
If
the
you
player
are
doesn't...
successful, you can save everyone. It's all on you now. the silent, stoic, and sugary Candy Knight. No pressure.
So, sort of the seriousness comes to a head here, and we see, our companion Sugar Rush dies in the past in that catastrophe. Never mind how that messes with the timeline. Don't think about it too hard.
Yeah.
By this point, we were like, we've explained enough. And so the thing is the Candy Knight being silent poses a problem when Sugar Rush is gone, because you need somebody to be able to converse. So it didn't really make sense, didn't really come through that he needs to be like, look at the back of the business card and be like, okay, I now understand the entire interaction that you had. I now understand that you're trying to like go and talk to her in the past, this person he doesn't even know. And so he's like, okay, let me see if I could send you to that particular point where you want to go. And he opens up a portal for us. That's probably the biggest reach of the whole map in terms of plot, is this moment here. But Sugar Rush is dead unless we do something.
So we gotta go save save the world.
So we're gonna go to Cake Valley, the Silicon Valley of Candyworld. And this is quite good. We had a lot of...
It was time to save the world. With the loss of Sugar Rush, our hero entered the portal alone. The Candy Knight had the Keeper of Time open a portal to find Professor Tiffany Twist, back in the days where Bon Bon Candy was just a little startup in Cake Valley. But just what was the plan the Candy Knight was baking up? Will our hero save Candyworld from certain doom? Or will the nightmare claim them, as it did poor Sugar Rush?
16 years ago, so this is now the farthest back we've gone. This is a year before Jeffrey Bonbon pitched to Butterscotch Village. Honestly, it should be even further than that for the factory stuff to have caused that chocolate slide, but whatever.
That's true.
And 1 year is not enough to cause that destruction, but there were a lot of great... years. A lot of great references that we had for like Silicon Valley. You'll see this sort of like the Apple headquarters here. This is the best part of the build, and my favorite part of the build. It's very good interpretation of Cake Valley, Silicon Valley. I'm just gonna fly up so I can show you a little bit more of it. So we've got like these big towers here, these big towers of cake. Is really cool. You could see some of the surrounding countryside. Over there, I believe. No, that's like the Apple headquarters over there. The big ring, the big cake ring donut thing.
Can't really tell when you're actually on the road.
But, I don't know. I think it comes through a little bit later down the road.
What's the Candy Knight doing here?
Yeah, the barks are still broken.
Yeah, that was one of the I thought I fixed that, but apparently not. Not sure why that's glitching.
We have this big emotional arc where we had the climax, and now we're like way down here. Everything is sad. Sugar Rush is gone, and here we are, trying to repair things. And
whoa,
I don't think we should have had the barks to like highlight this.
I thought you two were
how silent the world is without her.
Yeah.
This is a misleading sign, right? Closed. Does that mean it's closed this way, or this is closed and to go that way?
Aren't you the one who
good question.
Candy last year?
Where's Sugar Rush? I thought you two were a duo.
Oh, she said last year, so this is a year after we saved Candyworld, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh, aren't you the one?
Our timeline's a little bit of a mess.
Yeah.
Where's Sugar Rush? I thought
where are you?
Okay. Sorry, I was back a little ways, fixing up, or maybe fixing the barks. I think they're...
Oh, a Candy Knight?
Yeah, I think they're fixed now.
Is it true I become a Candy Knight
no.
like you?
Well, no, that's just a couple of them talking to each other. They're not doing the screaming the world's ending.
Oh, okay.
This is your daily reminder that you all have one approved bathroom break per workday. We must stay on schedule. Don't forget our employee raffle at the end of the week.
That's based on a true story.
Yeah.
if you missed it, he was like, don't forget you all have 1 approved bathroom break per week or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
How
this
can I
section there
become a
was...
candy knight, like you.
You know what? They do seem pretty happy working here.
Yeah.
Is there some kind of trouble? What's a candy knight doing here?
That's a
So
fun
in this
voice.
section, we were... All that was planned was have puzzles and rooms to unlock doors.
No. There was a whole thing planned with a top-down view, and it didn't get communicated. We carefully planned out the path for this section. Like, we said, okay, you get the lever from here, you get the lever from here, and then you go and do this, and you go and do that. It was all planned, I promise you. It just didn't get communicated.
Maybe on this floor, but the second floor, it was literally, here's a big empty room, make a puzzle. And it was just like, I think I ended up just
I
skipping
swear
those.
we normally don't work like that.
Yeah, I mean,
No one is
yeah,
permitted to enter the
it was
basement
just
until further notice for your safety. Experimental testing is
breakdown in
effect.
communication.
And I definitely dropped the ball on keeping it going. This
Yeah,
is before
I mean,
we
I
had
think
our
it
new
was just
project
like-
manager, and boy, if this doesn't highlight the need for a project manager other than me, I don't know what does.
Yeah, I mean, this is when we were like in the middle of doing a bunch of big projects when we were planning.
And also some
That's
changes
what I
in procedure as well,
Yeah.
and I let it get away from me.
Yeah.
How can I become a candy knight?
What? So freaking loud! I remember freaking out the first time I played this. I was like, oh my god, somebody just shot a gun!
Aren't you the one who saved Candy
Yeah, that
last
just
year?
opened the door.
Where's
And then,
Rush?
don't
I thought
worry.
you two were a duo.
So open that door and then the door to the elevator.
I'm so confused.
Is it true you don't talk?
Is it true you don't talk? I guess so. That's a good line.
Yeah. Oh,
You
well.
gave me quite the scare there. What's a candy knight like you doing here? Am I in trouble? Hey, that's me.
Okay, she's looking at the business card.
Twist technology? I haven't told anyone about that. Where did you get this? Who sent you? You don't talk much, do you? Are you trying to steal my identity? Is that it? I've never made these cards before. I would... Wait. This is my handwriting on the back. Stop Jeffrey. He is harvesting energy from the beyond and will bring about the end of Candyworld. TNT. That's ridiculous. I know Jeffrey was going to work on the power management himself, but he wouldn't... We're partners. I would never sign off on tech that uses the beyond. But this is my signature. I've never written this, though. You're... No, it's not possible. You're from the... Are you from the future? That's the only thing that makes this make sense. Not that any of this is making sense. Well, if what this card says is true, and that's a big if, we should confront Jeffrey and see what he's up to. But he just said no one is allowed to bother him down in his lab in the basement while he runs some experiments. Stop giving me that look. Jeffrey may have some outdated ideas, and sure, Bonbon isn't the perfect startup. But Jeffrey promises me that there will be time to fix those issues later. Carbon neutral and... Look, let's go find him right now. I'll show you. This beyond nonsense, honestly, you'll see.
So, the music was pretty loud there, but if you missed it, basically, the thing I was worried about here, I should have been worried about other things, but I was like, I want to really see, not necessarily because it's a plot hole, but I wanted to see because I thought it would be an interesting character exercise, is what would it really be like to, like, what would actually make you believe that someone was from the future? For real. And it was like, okay, so if I was presented with this and like it was a business card for an idea that I never told anybody about that I've been dreaming about, so like Twist Technologies or whatever is like a company she's been dreaming of, and it's my handwriting on the back, you know, there are other things that would be said that are, you know, not appropriate here, but I was like, I talked to Abigail, I was like, Abigail's the actress, I said like, as much as you can in this short monologue here, I really want to see the build from nothing like you're crazy to, or like you're intruding to like, oh my god, how is this real? She never fully believes it. That's crucial. She never fully buys into it. She's always still skeptical because she's a scientist and also she's like a person. But as much as we could, I think it came out nicely for as much as we were able to write. Obviously, we were trying to condense a very impossible situation and impossible character moment into, you know, this little minute-long monologue. But I think it came out nicely.
We were trying to cut down on the amount of time you'd spend just like kind of standing and watching,
which was very long in the original map.
Yeah.
We could have had like a transition there with the elevator as well.
Yeah. I think there was supposed to be a sound. I'm not sure why that didn't play.
Yes. We need to set up at a better location. Perfect place over by Butterscotch Village. No, we are not doing that. This is a legitimate business. No monsters. This is to improve the world. We have to do this the right way.
Who is he talking to?
Yes, I know what our deal is, and I will hold up my end of the bargain, but
Weird.
please don't
Lack of
try
echo
to
now.
alter it further.
Who are you talking to?
Ah, Professor Twist. I was just talking to myself. I'm working alone down here today, preparing to run some tests. What are you doing down here?
Investigating a disturbing rumor.
I assume one spread by this Candy Knight.
Look at his
King Candy
mustache.
has no right to be snooping in our business with his knights. He knows this.
I hear you are harvesting energy from the Beyond for your tech. You know the Beyond is off limits for a reason. It's dangerous and unstable. Not to mention the creatures that lurk out there.
Me? Use the Beyond? I would never do such a thing. I'm innocent. Where is the proof of these allegations?
Supposedly, this Candy Knight is from the future and met with future me. Whatever it is you're up to, Jeffrey, it causes the end of the world.
End of the world? and you're from the future. Do you hear yourselves?
I know it's crazy, but please, Jeffrey, show me what you are up to.
Why is he
Prove to
turning
me that
around
I'm
so
wrong
much?
and that this is just some joke.
I don't need to prove that. You know me.
He might be like trying
Candy
to
Knight.
look
He's
at both of
poisoning
us.
your mind, isn't he?
Not sure.
You know me, Tiff.
Then you should have no problem showing me our power production.
We've been business partners for years. Do you honestly think that
I don't know what to think, Jeffrey.
The audacity! Really? Do you trust me so little that...
Show me, Jeffrey. Where is the portal to the Beyond?
Maybe another time.
Now!
Oh,
I...
that sucks. That was a really
What the wafers
nice
was
line,
that?
and the volume balancing was all
Yeah,
off,
It's true.
yeah,
and the timing.
very distorted.
No sense hiding it now.
So he's supposed to be like struggling with the nightmare in his
Perhaps
head.
you'll even wish to join
Yeah.
us.
Jeffrey, what have you done? This portal. What have you let through?
The future. I have brought the future to Candyworld. With the help of the Beyond, we could do anything. We will revolutionize candy production, a new golden age of candy, and we'll be wealthy beyond imagination. Join me, Professor Twist.
Jeffrey, this is insane. This needs to be sealed.
Something wrong with him.
Do you have any idea what you've done?
I do. Join me.
Yeah,
Together,
I'm not sure why he's not looking
we
at
can
this.
rule Candyworld. Who needs King Candy anymore? It's all about companies now. It's all about control. When you control the means of production, you control everything. This company will continue to grow, and we will make real change because I know how to make it happen. I know how to give the world what it needs. Join
Great
me,
timing on the
Tiffany.
animation.
Join us.
Us?
Us.
What are you?
A nightmare.
Again, weird
First,
timing.
I will deal with this time-traveling Candy Knight.
Ah! So, the whole thing is like supposed to be really cinematic, and it was just not
Yeah.
made cinematic. I mean, the writing is there, the voiceover is there, but like shows you how important like timing, spacing, cinematography is. It just falls flat. But
Yeah, I didn't quite get that.
I think it's really cool. I love the Jeffrey monologue. I think that it was very cool. And that the way he sort of reveals himself. He lets his mask go of like, actually, it's all about me because I know what it's best for everyone and I know what I'm doing. And so the nightmare sort of appears, but because he doesn't really have a corporeal form, it's even more confusing. And he takes over Jeffrey completely to be like, you're in the way. Let's get rid of you.
Yeah.
I will consume all of you. You cannot stop me.
The effects on the nightmare voice are very good this time around, much better than the last one.
Yeah. Oh.
Slain by Nightmare Jeffrey Bonbon.
Oh yeah, it's the nightmare version.
Feed my army. Our hunger must be satisfied.
Probably would have renamed it.
So basically, in addition to Jeffrey being a bad guy, he also is like being corrupted by the nightmare with all the monsters and everything. And the nightmare is like, yeah, no, bring the monsters in and it'll help. And initially, Jeffrey is very against it, but clearly he eventually gave in. And, you know,
body is useless.
you know, you can see that he is also a bad guy, but also the nightmare is even worse.
Enough.
Everything hurts.
I'll take care of Jeffrey and try to close the portal. Get the nightmare. We can't let it escape.
So he gets expelled from his body. The fact that I have to explain it is not a good sign.
Yeah. I mean, it was. This is.
Should like Candynight.
It definitely could have been made much
Successful
clearer.
to attempt something as foolish as time travel. Perhaps I should learn this magic, this time travel. I'll be unstoppable. Keeper of time.
Oh wait. Remove the effect with the darkness. Oops.
And yeah, you can't hear anything he's saying. Ugh, this is a mess. So he says, perhaps I should learn this magic, this time travel. I'll be unstoppable. The Keeper of Time. Your thoughts betray you, hero. So he can he can read our thoughts, and he says, I can see inside your soul, your mind. After I deal with you, I'll pay him a visit, meaning the Keeper of Time. And then the nightmare transforms into the final form of the cupcake monster, and this is phase 2 of the battle.
Yeah, which, as you can kind of see, is a little glitchy.
And also, like, this is more of the size he's supposed to be, but he just doesn't fit in this room.
Yeah.
And what actually was supposed to happen is that you're not supposed to fight this guy in this room. That's why he doesn't fit.
Wait, really?
Yeah, it's supposed to be that the floor drops out from under you. I know that happens later, but
Yeah.
it's supposed to be that, like, in the same room that you were fighting Jeffrey in, like, they're on the side and the floor opens up, and that's where all this stuff with the nightmare happens, and that's why it's all like, and you can see, like, under the ground, you know, everything is really corrupted and dark, and that's why those lines like made more sense over there. And then we blow out the floor so that you can battle the giant cupcake monster in a larger area. What happens? What's happening?
Oh, sorry. I forgot you was gonna do that. It basically it triggers a short cutscene where he eats you, which is, and then
Yeah, so
yeah, we
this
have
is
this
not
underground
supposed
area.
to be. He's not supposed to eat you. That's not a thing.
Yeah.
What the script says is, today you meet your end, Candy Knight. If I consume you now, will you come back? Are we destined to battle again and again until we're both dead? Oh, no, wait, hold on. That's not it. Candy Knight enters the main lab room in pursuit of the nightmare. The secret lab doors close behind them. In the darkness, the nightmare is nowhere to be seen, plagued with left and right audio channels. This time travel will be unstoppable. Nightmare in the form of a cupcake monster suddenly rushes out of the darkness at the Candy Knight, and phase 2 of the boss battle begins. I don't think we properly described it in the script, but...
Yeah.
Oh, no, here we go. Boss battle reaches its climax. The cupcake monster smacks the central generator. So you're supposed to smack the thing in the center of the room. There's supposed to be an explosion. That's what makes the floor fall away. The player falls into a rock candy pit below. The nightmare comes down in its true form, and the battle continues. So it's supposed to be... correction. The cupcake monster was supposed to be above ground, but in a bigger room. The cupcake monster, and when you defeat it, smacks the central generator. There's an explosion. You fall down here, and now the nightmare's in its true form. I don't know how to attack it though.
It's invincible in this stage, and this is one thing that I needed to have changed. Was like this section goes on for way too long because he's like invincible, and you're just like this was the part that needed the most rework, and eventually, I also noticed the spawn point's broken here.
He's also
I know what to do with you. There won't be any more time travel. No past. No future.
yeah, he also has some really cool barks that are hard to hear. What is happening?
We're inside the nightmare, and he's getting pulled through the portal.
Yeah, this is so bad.
Yeah.
It's a really cool thing. So here's what the script says. Also, there's a path note here.
Oh, oops. Not sure why that's still there. And now you have to run away towards the portal.
I'm not going to yet.
Well, he pushes you if you don't. So that you actually get there beforehand.
Okay, so what the script says is there's supposed to be a portal.
Are you okay? The nightmare was sealed in the beyond when I shut down the portal.
This is so... this is such a mess.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing.
I need him. I need the beyond.
Not anymore, Bonbon.
I'll tell you all what happens in a second.
Not toxically efficient with the help of evil. We don't need that nightmare realm to make candy.
The money. The power. We could have. Your methods are too expensive. We need to dominate. To control.
This
None of
also
that matters
music is
if we
the
don't have
wrong
a world
choice.
to live in.
Yeah.
I'll make sure Jeffrey never opens a portal again. He'll use my clean green tech for any future endeavors. I promise. I hope that will prevent whatever disaster you came from. Which I suppose I must admit is true now. You can count on me. And not just me. There will always be people who want to do what's right and not just win. Perhaps you're one of them.
And there was supposed to be a time warp there, but I didn't see it.
Yeah, there's supposed to be time.
Welcome back.
Red, why did you think this map
I
was
told you they
done?
would return on this exact day, didn't I?
I said it was functionally done.
Okay.
I didn't say it was done.
All right, I'm gonna read the script as soon as the map ends to tell you what's supposed to happen.
Yeah, I don't think it
Keeper told
pauses
us
at all.
all about your adventure.
Indeed, for my being exists not only in this reality and this timeline, but in all timelines and all countless realities. Sort of.
I still don't understand what's going on. I thought there was gonna be liquor.
You and me both.
We were always
Sugar Rush
thinking.
can see. Actually, that's a good idea. Sugar Rush, get over here.
Sugar Rush is alive. Big reveal.
Keeper of Time told us what you went through,
The music is so loud.
saving us all.
Yeah.
While there is
man.
cause for celebration, keep in mind that this fight for our world does not end. This fight can only ever continue indefinitely, or reach a devastating end. For there will be others like Jeffrey, many, in fact, from all across this multiverse, clawing and gnashing their way to the top. At times, it may feel hopeless, my friends. In fact, without time travel, most damage is indeed irreversible. But you must always hold on to hope. No matter how horrible and unfair many parts of this world may seem, there is still hope. And frustrating though it is, hope is not magic. It is not otherworldly. It is one of the few things we can produce from nothing. And as you have shown throughout your life, Candy Knight, action is what makes hope appear to be magic.
such a good line that we missed.
Outside of the people in this room, very few will know what you did. But you have saved Candyworld from the worst nightmare yet. Yet. And thus our story concludes. Our heroes reunited.
Same as the
nightmare
original,
sealed
we
away
go
and
out of the
Candyworld
book now.
saved. For now. Professor Tiffany Twist revolutionized candy production with sustainable methods. Reluctantly, in the interest of funding her projects, the professor continued to work with Jeffrey Bonbon, who remained the same greedy man he always was, but far less powerful and capable of far less destruction. Old Man Snickety went back to retirement in Butterscotch Village, now chocolate slide free. The Keeper of Time continued to keep time, while Sugar Rush and the brave Candy Knight would go off in search of future adventures to protect Candyworld, armed with the most ordinary and mundane of powers, hope and action. Yes, indeed, things were looking up for now.
And then the book's supposed to close Final Fan implemented that. Well, it's supposed to be looking at black.
What about? Did you not do the credits?
No.
Oh, I forgot.
The credits were just going to be in the books here, but...
Oh, right, okay. All right, so I'm going to speed through this very quickly because a lot of stuff happened. So, Nightmare roars, and the portal was supposed to be there throughout the whole battle. Nightmare roars, and the roar of the portal grows louder. Tiffany can be heard panicking. The portal is becoming unstable. It's getting bigger. The Candy Knight is lifted up into the air by the portal, and the Nightmare swoops in and pulls the player inside of it. So we get sucked into the beyond. Again, would have been a very cool moment. Screen goes black, but the following can be heard. Nightmarish eldritch horror sounds as the candy is inside the nightmare. Use some gross sounds that seem wet. Candy Knight, you two are next. Wait, we had a deal. Time to seal you all away. And then, instead, we escape. And he says, wait, no, not me. Portal sounds and wonkiness, some tumbling and jostling. Candy Knight is suddenly launched out of the mouth of the nightmare into the white flatlands of the beyond. The player slowly gets up and stares down the nightmare that landed further away. No, I will not be sealed back into the beyond. The nightmare begins to charge towards the Candy Knight and the portal back to Candyworld. Candy Knight must beat the nightmare back to the portal using a system similar to Millionaire Hero Card Chase, where the progress of the player defines the position and animation. We artificially construct a situation where the nightmare will always be just a little bit too late to exit. None of that stuff was done. We animate one animation of him going in one straight line to the portal and manipulate the timing of it to be extra dramatic. No! I've worked too hard to be stuck here again! Tiffany from the other side says, hurry, Candy Knight, I can seal it, get out of there! As the Candy Knight runs toward the portals, other monsters begin to pop up on the edges, watching them run as the nightmare roars behind, trampling madly towards the portal. No, don't seal me away! Don't seal me away! Take me with you! Candy Knight leaps through just before the nightmare can catch up, and the portal seals as they are launched through back into the lab. The portal can be accomplished here with just a hole in the pure white walls into the other space, so it appears like a portal, and we could still have it close and not just teleport away. No! Cut off abruptly as the portal seals. So you can tell this is quite a dramatic finale that we were meant to have here. Candy Knight turns as Tiffany comes over, says, are you okay? The nightmare was sealed in the beyond when I shut down the portal. How could you close the portal? I need him. I need the beyond. And this is supposed to be, there was a lot of thought of like how we wanted to end Jeffrey's story, because we don't want him to be redeemed. He's not a good guy, but also we need to have some element of hope and like change. And so part of it is just he's so defeated. I need him. I need the beyond. Not anymore, Bonbon. Our tech is going to be sustainable, not toxically efficient with the help of evil. We don't need that nightmare realm to make candy. But the money, the power we could have. Your methods are too expensive. We need to dominate. We need to control. None of that matters if we don't have a world to live in. A moment passes as Jeffrey silently mulls that over. Tiffany turns to the Candy Knight. I'll make sure Jeffrey never opens a portal again. We'll use my clean green tech for any future endeavors, I promise. I hope that will prevent whatever disaster you came from, which I suppose I must admit is true now. You can count on me, and not just me. There will always be people who want to do what's right and not just win. Perhaps you're one of them, which I thought was a very sweet line. Again, had it been in a cinematic setting, it would have landed a lot better. A time orb suddenly winks into existence behind the player. It's time to go home. The player touches the orb and returns to the present. Candy Knight appears in the Keeper of Time's tower. They're waiting for them as the Keeper of Time, Old Man Stickety and Tiffany. They welcome him back. They welcome the Candy Knight back. The Keeper told us all about your adventure, which apparently the Keeper is able to do. For some reason, Tiffany is there. And Keeper of Time explains it away by saying, "Indeed, for my being exists not only in this reality and in this timeline, but in all timelines and all countless realities," sort of. It's written, sort of. And Sugar Rush comes flying out. "Sugar Rush, get over here. You're back. Keeper of Time told me what you went through to save me. Thank you for saving us all." And then the monologue, which I want to highlight again, which I want... Oh, crap. I want to just play it again here. Let's stop sound. Can you stop the music?
Yeah.
Function, music. Is there music stop? Here we go. Play sound. Is it vo.keeper or keeper.vo? Probably.
What are you trying to play?
Keeper.vo24, something like that. Line 24 of Keeper of Time. Can you play that to us?
That did not play.
Cause it's
Time.
Yeah, Keeper of Time, line 24. Just because it's a really nice line that I wanted to end on, that really works well. There are also a lot of Sugar Rush barks that we recorded that didn't end up making it into the map. And at the end, where he says, "Outside of the people in this room, very few will know what you did, but you have saved Candyworld from the worst nightmare yet." Yet? Yet. And the screen goes black as an evil snicker is heard, sort of leaving it open-ended. Cutscene as the camera leaves the storybook, and then we heard the finale. That's the new denouement of what everybody is doing. And a line I really like: "Armed with the most ordinary and mundane of powers, hope and action," which I quite like. It was hard to end this on a positive note when, it is pretty hopeless for all of us for global warming, but there is hope. And so, because there are always people who want to help. And so I'm trying to find, did you find it yet?
Yeah, I just found it.
Okay, great. So yeah, I want to play that last monologue again without the music because it's really nice.
Yeah. Oh. Wait, why did it disconnect me from the world?
I don't know, but what is the command?
Here, I'll send it to you in Discord. Cool.
Here we go.
While there is cause for celebration, keep in mind that this fight for our world does not end. This fight can only ever continue indefinitely, or reach a devastating end. For there will be others like Jeffrey, many, in fact, from all across this multiverse, clawing and gnashing their way to the top. At times, it may feel hopeless, my friends. In fact, without time travel, most damage is indeed irreversible. But you must always hold on to hope. No matter how horrible and unfair many parts of this world may seem, there is still hope. And frustrating though it is, hope is not magic. It is not otherworldly. It is one of the few things we can produce from nothing. And as you have shown throughout your life, Candy Knight, action is what makes hope appear to be magic.
Love that line. Action is what makes hope appear to be magic. And that was sort of the best we could end it on without being too depressing.
Yeah.
But that was a Sugary Scream, A Nightmare in Candyworld Part 2. Things really fell apart at the end there, but I think you can sort of tell what we were going for, where we went wrong. I think we talked a lot about it. Anything you want to add,
Yeah.
Red?
No, I feel we've covered pretty much everything I can think of, in terms of, what we were aiming for, but also, kind of where things went a little bit off the rails.
Yeah, let me see if I can grab some of the art here. Let me pull this up in our general drive, because I would really love to show off some of it. projects. Sugary Scream. Okay, here we go. I will share this window. Did it work?
I don't know yet.
I think so. Okay, so I'll show you here. We've got our layouts. You could see some of the layouts for the different chapters. There's quite a lot of detail in them about like where each thing happens. You could see there's a barks from a villager saying something about the economy. We wanted to make more barks about like things, what's going wrong with the economy from this change from Jeffrey. We describe the big mob. The boss is meant to be about 10 to 15 blocks high and 6 blocks wide. Mountains surrounding the city, where the rock slide comes from. There's info about the basement here, what it looks like after the first disaster. Again, it was supposed to be a different build. For some reason, it didn't get made. In chapter 2, we can see here. Let me zoom in a little bit. You can see here what was meant to happen as you go through the rooms. So here's the crowd. The tentacle comes out from this pipe. You go through these rooms here. We've labeled the different rooms. As you can see, the line of sight is there, so we can see the pollution in the river. I mentioned that. This is where we have a link to an Uncharted Lost Legacy puzzle that we were thinking more of we would like to do in this big area, but instead we did the minecart puzzle. When resolving the puzzle, the shadow you've seen in the corridor are actually tentacles that stay in the back trying to catch you. We had a lot of plans for cool things to happen here, cool scary things to happen. Stalking area in the river. Here's the ending of it. This is chapter 3. You can see Dan kept writing the girl whenever we were talking about Tiffany for some reason. So
I'm
meet
not
the
sure.
girl.
It may have been because we didn't name her for a while.
Yeah.
I think that's probably why.
Solar punk
Which is the
style
last one we
plants.
named.
Looking about how you go through it. Here's where the donuts come. Here, the cupcake is actually supposed to come from the other end than he did. And crossover here, you go up this big mountain. Cupcake eats sugar rush. We've got chapter 4 here. This is Cake Valley. Citizens wandering throughout the city, stereotyping the Silicon Valley, but Candyworld. We have, we had the idea of making it wintertime so we can have snow or sugar falling on top of the cakes. Would have been really nice. There's a description of the mini game to take the key, how you're going to go from one area to the other. Just sort of brief showing there. We have, let's see here. I won't show off our design doc and stuff, but let me see if I can get, hold on just one second. I'm going to look for the concept art, which I really want to show. Sugary Scream art. Okay, here we go. This is great. So we'll first look at we'll look at some of the concept art first. So here's some for the NPCs. These are great. You can see the factory worker NPCs here. The villager NPCs. Love these designs. Professor Tiffany Twist. Lovely design. You can see, really going in on the detail about the watch. And this is, a little bit more of a glimpse into how we create the art for our maps. I love the full high-res version of Sweet Tooth. It's beautiful.
Oh, yeah, that's a great one.
I have a Sweet Tooth, Anna has one too, a Sweet Tooth stuffed animal, like a plushie.
Yeah, I have that.
Oh, you have one too?
Yeah.
Yeah. From the original map. Here's Sugar Rush. I should have, She looks a lot cooler in the concept art, but it's because of very subtle things like the texture on the cube, the little bits at the end of the eyebrows or eyelashes, the mouth is a little more complete, the wings are a little bit more elegant. And so it didn't occur to me that we were losing some of the character by giving her that face.
Yeah.
Old Man Snickety. It's supposed to be a birthday cake candle inside his helmet.
Oh, yeah, it's it.
Yeah. You could see notes about the boots, how the boots would turn up a little bit. Great detail on these. King Candy never made it into the map, but...
He is in the map,
he
but...
is?
Yeah, like his model and everything is there, or like a whole mob of him, but he's never actually used in the map, so I'm not sure why we made him again.
Okay. Yeah, that was weird, but again, miscommunication. The Keeper of Time, this is a beautiful piece of art here. For devs, would be cool to have leaves as particles. That would be very cool. We talked about using our physics system that we used in Dungeons & Dragons for inverse kinematics to have the hanging of the beard. We go over how the hand connects up here at the top. You can see here about the fingers connecting. The Timekeeper will always have the same pose. Great character. Here's Jeffrey Bonbon. Make smaller details like the glasses. Make hands for this character this way. You can see he's got a mouth flap here. Again, we planned for a lot more things to use our physics system, like his coat, but we didn't get around to using it. Let's take a look at the enemies. Oh man, that's good. Oh, that's so good. Juicy. Oh, the peanut butter goblin. Great.
Oh, right, yeah. That's a great one.
This is, like I said, one of my favorite creature creations we've ever done. The Ice Cream Warrior, and the translation into the Minecraft style really worked very well, I think. It's a shame I don't have a side-by-side here. I wasn't prepared for it, but it's really cool. You could see the different colors of ice cream melting. He's sort of dragging behind that little bit of ice cream on his foot.
That would be a nice detail.
The scepter is firmly grasped in his hand. That's great. And so you're supposed to be like a little bit taller than the player to be more intimidating. The gummy teeth. Oh man, this one actually really came through. You could tell like directly in the game. Really cool. This was the one I was really excited about. The Cotton Candy Warrior with the sort of messed up diving suit. Very slimy.
Yeah.
Just all sorts of gunked up, like all the candy that made it at the end of the machine that didn't make it into the final product, stuff like that. The Choco Hound. Man, this thing looks way scarier in the concept art. Of course, it's because you can see it's got like that fur and the teeth, which didn't really get translated.
Not quite as menacing.
Yeah, the Caramel Blob really looks awesome. Obviously, all this stuff is always better in the concept art because we have to, tone down the resolution and everything for the actual game. But it is beautiful. I love it. Let's see. Okay, that was the enemies. We've got the bosses here. So, let's go this way. So this is the Caramel Lake monster. You can see what's in the concept art is different than what was on the layout, so that's where the miscommunication happened. Here it says 10 blocks wide and 8 blocks tall, and you can see he's got a sort of almost like a waffle midsection. Excellent rendering here. This is the Cupcake version 1, the first type this 6x6 version, and you can see it's very much inspired by the Cotton Candy Warrior homunculus thing, where it's all of the gunk at the machine that didn't get into the candy. It's all sorts of different flavors and different types, and it's just like a big gummy thing. This didn't end up making it into the game, but this is the original idea for what the cupcake monster would look like when the nightmare takes it over. But the nightmares kind of always has it taken it over. It's 12 by 12 blocks. You can see the comparison to the player. I think the scale's a little off, but very cool. Would have been very scary.
Yeah.
But then here's the V2 because we wanted to keep it more thematic, and this turnaround really shows you the complexity of this beast. Really very, very cool. And here's Jeffrey Bonbon, the nightmare version as well, just sort of darker. I won't show, they wouldn't want me to show any work in progress stuff, but let's take a look at the storyboards. So usually we like to storyboard as much as we can, but it's very, very expensive to do so. But our product always ends up better when we storyboard, because then we really animate every pose, every moment, and know moment to moment what's happening. And were we making a full game with a full development cycle, we would do this for everything. But we have to be very selective with where we use it. So typically we use it for boss intros and deaths, because that's where we want the biggest impact. So you can see here, this is what was supposed to happen in the intro to the monster for the caramel blob. Villagers are near there. There's a tremor, and the caramel lake monster starts to appear on the edge of the lake and roars and slams down, and none of this kind of made it in. And normally
the slam is there, but we didn't see it because our heads were in the way.
Gotcha. Okay. Here's introduction to the first cupcake monster. So this was a miscommunication from the storyboarding phase, because again, the nightmare should not have been there. But when I saw this, I was like, okay, we've already started production on it. That's fine. I'm okay with this design. It still works. Yeah. But it still didn't read. You can see a black shadow particle comes out of the portal. It comes out of the portal surrounding it like a snake. It throws you, the shockwave throws you back, and the shadow particle comes towards you, and it speaks to you. The camera pans to the right and finds the cupcake monster ready to fight. So that did come through pretty much. Mm-hmm. We've got here, this is the other version. So at the top of the volcano, the player runs together with Sugar Rush towards the time warp. A big roar is heard coming from them, and behind them is the cupcake monster. It throws a tentacle and catches Sugar Rush and eats him. That was I was very excited for that moment, for YouTubers to play it and see that moment happen. The intro for Jeffrey, we enter a room, there's a portal at the back, Nightmare Cloud begins to surround him, and it transforms into him. That was a really cool transformation that we thought we would be able to pull off, but didn't really work. Those are the storyboards we had. I think that's everything that I can show regarding this.
I think so.
Yeah, so I'll turn this off, but basically that unfortunately is where the saga of Candyworld comes to an end, folks. This is the end of Candyworld, unfortunately. I'm glad that we tried this. I'm glad that we, if nothing else, we got amazing art out of it and some great performances. But all of the pieces, this was a big project that was done at a time when we weren't ready for a big project. Or rather, we were ready for a big project, and then a bunch of other big projects came up and interrupted it. And those obviously had to be prioritized. So it never really came together. All these disparate pieces that were done at different times were done, but never quite fit together. A lot of it is just it wasn't polished and done in the implementation, but also a lot of it is the lack of communication. So I promise you it's not normally like this. We usually communicate really, really well in our team, and that's why we get such great stuff. But unfortunately, this is just what happened to Candyworld. So I'm going to see if I have credits that I wrote to read off.
I'm not sure if we did that.
I don't think I did, unfortunately, but so many people on the team were involved in this and just did a phenomenal job. And I'm so proud of everybody's work on it. And I'm glad that we got to show it and to the world before closing it up. So thank you, everybody. Thank you very much for watching, for joining us. If you've made it to the end here, please say something in the comments, say something in the chat. We're so grateful to all of you to allow us to do this stuff and for staying interested and staying fans of our work. We're sorry this is all we were able to present to you for this sequel, but hopefully you enjoyed what you got to see and you learned a little something about what goes into making these maps. Anything you want to add, Red?
No, I think you summed it up perfectly.
Yeah. Well, thanks, everybody. We're going to end the stream here. Thank you all very much. We'll see you next time.
Yep. Thank you.